Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Stormont, just outside of Belfast, for this Game 2 of the Celtic International Challenge Series between Ireland women and Scotland women. We have sunshine and almost a little bit of heat. First signs of summer, although it's windy. Certainly cool still if you weren't in the sun. And we are set fair for a great afternoon of cricket. The second of 4 T20 internationals, a slightly later start today, 1 p.m. local start. Just a short while ago, we had Isabel Joyce out with the two captains. Let's go and find out what happened.
Good afternoon and welcome to Stormont in Northern Ireland for match 2 of the Celtic International T20 Challenge. With me in the middle, I'm joined by Captain of Ireland, Laura Delaney, Captain of Scotland, Catherine Bryce, and Phil Thompson has the coin.
Okay, you call this time, Laura?
Heads.
Heads the call. And heads it is.
We'll have a bat, please.
Laura, come and join me. So you've won the toss and decided to have a bat first. Do you think your team is better set up to set a target?
Yeah, look, obviously yesterday wasn't our finest display with the bat, but today's another opportunity to go out there, try harder and hopefully improve on yesterday's performance.
And any team news, any changes for us?
No, we're sticking with the same 11.
Okay, well, best of luck today.
Thanks a million, thank you.
And Catherine, if you'd won the toss, would you've had another bat today?
Yeah, I think we'd had another bat today as well. Probably similar, didn't go how we wanted with the bat yesterday. Lots of things to improve on, but a good opportunity to kind of go out there and have a target to chase at the end of the day.
And any changes in the team today?
Same team, so same.
Same team, okay, so same team as well. Best of luck today, Catherine. So that's the news from the middle. Ireland have won the toss and they'll have a bat.
So that was the news from the toss. Laura Delaney, the Ireland captain, deciding to bat first. She'll have been really disappointed, as will have Ed Joyce, with the way the Irish batting lineup went about it yesterday. Couldn't chase down a low total on what looked like a reasonably good batting wicket. It was the Scotland women's team just getting ready to go. Andrew Leonard here, be joining you throughout all of these 4 T20 internationals. How fantastic it is to have international cricket back here on the island of Ireland. We're in the north of Ireland in Stormont. It's about 10 minutes outside of the city centre of Belfast, and yesterday saw the first international cricket on this island for 612 long days. It's been a long wait, and we were served up a bit of a treat yesterday, a low scoring one to end that wait. And the good news is we're going to do it all again over the course of the next 3 days. So the Celtic International T20 Challenge Series today and tomorrow's second and third T20Is come at 1 o'clock, and then we round out the fourth T20I of the series, 11 a.m, an earlier start. Remember, if you're in the area, you can come on down. The Northern Irish Executive has lifted the restrictions on attendances, so you're able to come in limited numbers. There's nice areas to set up in with plenty of social distancing about. 2 umpires there just making their way out. And joining me, Andrew Leonard, for the first period of this first innings. I've got Andrew Blair-White. Andrew, disappointment for Ireland yesterday, but the great thing about 4 matches in 4 days, plenty of time to make it up and get back into the series.
Yes, exactly, and I'd say that was what Ed Joyce and Laura Delaney were trying to instill into their players yesterday. They had a long chat after play, as you say. They'd have been disappointed with how things went in that run chase, but they're batting first today. They've a chance to start afresh and try and build a big score and defend it themselves. So they've got the opportunity to go and do so, and hopefully they will.
So going to be Gabby Lewis and Rebecca Stokel to open up for Ireland, as you may have heard on the PA in the background. And Catherine Fraser is going to open up in a bit of a change to yesterday. Going to see her off breaks that were quite impressive yesterday. So change in tactics for Scotland, losing the toss. It really is set fair. It's very windy, quite blustery. Let's hope we're in for a higher scoring affair than yesterday. It was overnight sunshine, there's morning sunshine even. Overnight there was no rain, and we've ended up with nice dry conditions. Should be more favourable to the batters today. Game 2 of 4 T20 internationals. It's going to be Rebecca Stokel on strike. We're going to get off with a much more aggressive start. We didn't see many boundaries at all yesterday, but tossed up right into the hitting arc of Rebecca Stokel. She's up opening the batting because of her power. 1 bounce 4, that's more like it from the Irish batters.
Yeah, an excellent start from Rebecca Stokel. This is where she usually likes to target. She goes straight down the pitch. It's tossed up. Fraser was inviting the big shot, and Stokel took the bait. First delivery and a great start for Ireland. Great intent.
Yeah, that's much more like it. There's no doubt there was nerves yesterday, Andrew, not just from Ireland, but also the Scotland women. We had the anthems before the first match of the series and sung out with great pride. It was a really emotional moment, not just for the players, I think for all involved. Those nerves perhaps just paying their toll against the Irish side. 2 fielders allowed outside the circle at this stage. That's out to one of the 2 of them. Out to Becky Glenn. So we've got a cow corner and a deep backward square leg. No fielders in the deep on the offside, and no one straight down the ground either, Andrew.
Yeah, I'd have thought for Rebecca Stokel you may well be employing a long on, maybe instead of a deep backward square, but they've obviously done their research. They've done what Fraser feels she'll be able to bowl to. And now Gabby Lewis taking strike for the first time today.
Yeah, Gabby Lewis so integral to this Irish batting lineup. It's a very young, inexperienced Irish women's side with not a huge number of caps to their names, but not many runs or wickets either. Reverse sweep, immediate intent from Lewis, just goes through to the keeper.
Yeah, it's a good option for Gabby Lewis. She's been working on that reverse sweep an awful lot. Good to see the intent does seem to be an awful lot higher, even in the first 5 deliveries.
Hit airily over the offside. It will only just get over the infield, but in a sign that the batting conditions will be a little better. You could see skipping off the turf of the outfield. Looks like a much quicker outfield. Get back for 2. Lewis, the only player in this Irish side as we close out the first over. Score 7 for none. The only batter with more than 500 T20 international runs available in the squad this week. She really leads the way. She's integral. The only one with a T20 international 50 as well.
Yes, she's the one that I suppose that they're looking to build innings around. She's usually an aggressive batter, herself and Rebecca Stokel, and I think just in comparison to what they did yesterday, they'll be looking to try and use this first 6 overs to their advantage. Only, as you said earlier, Lenny, 2 players outside the ring in this first 6, and it's a great opportunity to get yourself off to a good start, and these 2 certainly have the capabilities of finding the rope.
Going to be one of the stars of the show from yesterday, Catherine Bryce, into the bowling attack. They were so impressive, Scotland, the way they fielded that outstanding catch making its way around the world at extra cover. Saw it on the ICC's Twitter feed last night, diving full length to her right and clinging on. And her sister behind the stumps was equally as impressive.
Yeah, she was. I was extremely impressed with Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. She stood up to the stumps for every seam bowler, spin bowler, and took 4 stumpings, I believe, as well in the process. But Catherine Bryce's catch at extra cover will certainly live long in the memory. We've been treated to some spectacular catches at Stormont already this year, and that was right at the top of the list.
Driven beautifully into the offside. A really good diving stop from Samantha Hago. Gets just one hand to it. Cuts off the boundary. Again, a similar field, even though it's right arm seam, not right arm off spin. The two fielders in the deep again. Deep backward square leg and a deep mid wicket. Yeah, that catch from from Catherine Bryce, correction, was probably the standout star moment of the day. Stokel hits airily into the leg side. Good power on show again. And it's going to be another boundary. Goes over the sprawling dive, and great to see that. Irish fans clapping in admiration. Stokel getting Ireland off to a bit of a flyer.
Yeah, good start this from Stokel, and she's done well here. Bryce usually tailing the ball in, as you can see there from your replay, playing with the swing, hitting it over that mid-wicket fielder, and it's running away pretty quickly here.
It's also hitting with the wind as well. The wind is swirling a little bit, predominantly going across the ground from right to left as you look at your screen there. One of our cameras stationed at the Dundonald end of the ground. Bowler, that movement in has done the deed, and it's knocked out the leg stump in the process. Not the first time we've seen the leg stump take a walk in the last day or two. Werner Prendergast knocked it out this time. Today, it's Catherine Bryce. Beautiful piece of bowling. Sharp and fast. And Stokel is castled.
Yeah, excellent comeback from Catherine Bryce, especially having been hit away there for a boundary. Stokel trying to take that aggressive option. I think probably from a coaching setup you wouldn't mind Stokel getting out that way, to be honest. She's gone out with a complete game plan in mind that she's going to take it on. She got a couple of boundaries away, which will have helped the momentum, and even though she departs just for 10, they won't be too unhappy with how they've gone about things.
Outstanding from the older of the two Bryce sisters, the Scottish captain. Bowling with good pace and good movement. Going to be the Irish women's captain to the crease at number 3. Laura Delaney in Leinster CC down in Dublin. Also a special day for Laura, as she becomes the record caps holder for Ireland women in T20I cricket.
Yeah, brilliant moment for Laura Delaney, who's been such a stalwart of this team for the last number of years, captain for the last couple of years as well. She's got a job to do here with Gabby Lewis. It'll be interesting to see after that early wicket whether they'll maintain that kind of aggressive approach that we've seen in the first couple of overs. You'd like to hope that they will do so, that they'll continue to try and hit their shots and try to get themselves off to the best possible start.
It looked a very lengthy debrief yesterday between the entire Irish women's coaching staff and their side. It didn't look to me to be a aggressive chat or the hairdryer treatment that we've sometimes seen at various levels, but certainly a huge number of learnings. I think Ed Joyce will have been trying to get across to his team that the application with the bat in particular, not good enough for international level.
Yes, well, it was probably a combination between application and intent as well. Chasing that small target, you can sometimes get into habits of trying to just push and nurdle around early on. They probably didn't go about it aggressively enough and break the back of the run chase.
Change in bowling. Going to be the player of the match from yesterday, Katie McGill, into the attack, and she's immediately hit strongly into the deep of the offside by Gabby Lewis. Good running gets them back for 2. Bit of a dream day for McGill yesterday.
Yeah, it was a super day for McGill. She looked good with the bat in hand for 20. She looked very busy at the crease, played a lot of ramps, and then 3 wickets with the ball. She bowls tight, medium pace, keep her up to the stumps, and with Sarah Bryce doing such a good job behind the stumps, it's very effective.
Beats the attempted drive of Lewis outside the off stump. Such a stylish and elegant player, Lewis, but also does possess the power game. We'll see her be inventive with her sweeps, reverse sweeps we saw there in the first over. But a different field for McGill, because you saw there the cover sweeper in place alongside a deep mid-wicket. We saw this so often yesterday. No fine leg in place for so many of the bowlers, trusting their lines. Hit airily over the offside. Going to be more runs to the total. I think that's going to run away rapidly across the outfield. The outfield much quicker today. That's going to be another boundary, this time going to the bat of Gabby Lewis.
Yeah, taking the aggressive approach here. Lewis wasn't off the middle of the bat by any means, but there was a hint of width on offer from McGill, as you can see from the replay, and Lewis has gone to try and crash it away through the covers, goes over backward point, and it's sped away, not for the first time, to that side of the ground for a boundary.
Just a little hint of shape away from the right-hander, and that again is probably as much as anything due to the wind. Wind really blowing, feels like gusting 20-25 miles an hour, perhaps as much as that, across the ground from right to left. So coming from the pavilion and indeed the Stormont Castle where the Parliament buildings are side, on the right of your screen, across the pitch to the left. And again that movement going away from the right-hander, but nicely driven by Lewis. She looks very accomplished and very technically correct.
Yes, I think this will be a sterner examination of the Scotland bowlers today, just with the way that Rebecca Stokel came out and tried to hit her shots. Gabby Lewis now doing the same as well, just putting a little bit of pressure back on the bowler, which we didn't see much of yesterday.
And that's going to be the second wicket. Laura Delaney's going to be so disappointed with that. It was short, it was wide, outside the off stump. If she could have got it over the infield, there's no doubt it would have been 4 runs. But Becky Glenn has held on to a really good catch at backward point. Not a delivery McGill's going to want to remember, but she can't stop taking wickets at the moment.
Yeah, it was short and wide. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a soft dismissal for Laura Delaney, just cutting airily, and Glenn's taking a smart catch in there. She's quite close at backward point. Means the Ireland captain departs without troubling the scores today, and Ireland now 20 for 2 after 3 overs and a small bit of a wobble early on.
Yeah, you won't have seen it just on your screen there either, but both umpires, Rowley Black and Alan Neal, going off to their third umpiring colleague Jarlath McCready and saying we need to change our hats. That's how bad the wind is. That's the Scottish side today. No changes for them. You can understand that. They were outstanding. Abby Aitken-Drummond even setting an equal record yesterday. She goes past the record today. Record Scottish women's cap holder now. Been a great servant for the Scottish Wildcats. But yeah, the change in headwear for the umpires just indicates just how extreme the weather is. They've gone away from the old traditional wide brim and they're into the baseball caps now for the rest of the match.
Yeah, there is that very predominant wind, as you've been talking about, Lenny, which you probably can't pick up. Obviously watching the stream. Shauna Kavanagh now in. I thought she looked good at her stay at the crease yesterday, sweeping very well. Be interesting to see what she can muster up today.
Beaten outside the off stump. Yeah, I was just mentioning Laura Delaney moving past Mary Waldron as the record caps holder. Mary, one of, I think, 4 players not available for this series, not because of work commitments or anything, but because they're not in the country. They're down predominantly in Australia or New Zealand. Emma Richardson, down there as well as Kavanagh gets off the mark, just working that into the leg side. Should mention as well, Sophie McMahon, a big loss for this series. She's not available through work commitments. The Leinster CC all-rounder, so impressive in the Super 2s. But yeah, I'm just going to reel you through the record caps holders in T20 international cricket just for a second, Andrew. So Laura Delaney 63, Mary Waldron 62. She's still playing, but look at the next names on the list. Claire Shillington 56, Isabel Joyce 55, Kim Garth 51. They're the only three other players with more than 50 T20 international caps. All three of them now not available. Shillington, Joyce and Garth all retired from Irish duty. That's the scale and the quality that this Irish women's side is having to cope without in this new era.
Yeah, Gabby Lewis going through for a quick single there and just about getting the dive in. I think she would have been safe anyway. Yeah, I think they've had to go under a big restructuring. They lost both our commentary partner Isabel Joyce, Cecilia Joyce, Claire Shillington, all in a very similar frame of time now. Kim Garth has gone down to play her cricket in Australia as well, which is a massive loss. Kim was such an excellent player for Irish women's cricket. So they do have, an awful lot of players to have to be replaced.
Yeah, one of 4 retirements from the 2018 T20 World Cup in the Caribbean, where they took their final curtain call. The 2 Joyce sisters, Isabel and Cecilia. We'll hear from Isabel throughout the afternoon. And also losing the leg spin of Ciara Metcalf and Claire Shillington, affectionately known as the grannies, the 4 of them. We might ask Izzy as to exactly why that is. A little later on, there's some of the details about Shauna Kavanagh, the Pembroke CC stalwart. The blustery conditions just causing a few problems for not just the umpires but the players as well. But the good news is no rain on the radar. Definitely be all set here for game 2. Ireland trying to square the series yesterday, running out 11-run losers to Scotland women. But immediately it looks a very different approach from Ireland's batters, even though they've already lost 2 wickets in the power play.
Yep, it seems to be plenty of intent on offer in the power play overs today. And I think for the likes of Gabby Lewis and Shauna Kavanagh, as we said, with losing those core 4 players, these 2 are now extremely experienced players at this level and will have to start holding their hands up to be playing those big match-winning innings.
Just comes off the outside edge. Kavanagh wants one. Gabby Lewis didn't know at first, and really just because of the half a misfield, it ends up probably salvaging things and allowing them to get through for the single.
I think you're even seeing more of an aggressive style of running between the wickets today. They only scored 13 runs in their 6-over power play yesterday. They've come out with an awful lot more intent. They're running between the wickets quickly and assertively.
I've been most impressed with Scotland women's bowlers, the lengths they've bowled. Bowled a really good length. It often feels just out of reach of being able to get down in the front foot. We saw that from the spinners as well. The keeping was outstanding, not just setting a world record, but equally in the world record she holds herself, Sarah Bryce, 4 stumpings. Really well drilled unit. This side coached by their head coach Mark Coles. You could see how much the win meant to them yesterday as well. Huge passion on display before the game with the singing of the anthems, and great belt out of it after the match, singing the winning team song proudly from the marquee.
Yes, exactly. It was brilliant to see as well. I think for an awful lot of these women it was a relief to get out onto the pitch and then to put in as good a performance as they did would have been immensely satisfactory for all of them.
And you wonder how much of I know this is a preparation series, it's T20 international cricket, you want to win every game you play, but if you look at this as preparation for particularly the ICC T20 World Cup qualifier later in the summer held in August, 6 sides, just 1 spot on offer. You'd have to think Ireland will go in as favourites, the higher ranked of the 2 teams, but if Scotland can turn them over here in their backyard, going to be a big blow as Kavanagh gets that into the offside. Again, good fielding at backward point. If that had got through, it probably would have gone for 4. And that's going to get us to the end of the 5th over. Evenly poised, 27 for 2.
Yeah, been a good start from both sides. I think Ireland will be happy with the approach they've taken. As we can see from the replay there, it's more excellent fielding in at backward point from Becky Glenn. Just took a catch a couple of overs ago now. A very good stop, which would have prevented a couple of boundaries. And interesting, obviously yesterday we saw with Scotland defending a target that Catherine Bryce kept herself back for 2 overs at the end of it, and she's going to bowl her 3rd over up top here, maybe seeking that wicket of either Kavanagh or Lewis, which they feel may get them rightly into that Ireland middle order.
The immediate call is 2 from Kavanagh maybe, but straight to the fielder, so they'll get back for 1. I wonder, is that anything to do with the fact that it's a change of tact today? Yesterday we saw Becky Glenn open for just a solitary over. We haven't seen her with the ball used yet today, so Catherine Bryce happy to bowl 3 straight through. She'll probably hold 1 back for the death where she was so effective yesterday.
Well, they've heaps of bowling options, this Scottish side. We saw a great spin from Fraser, who bowled the first over today. Obviously Abtaha Maksood as well, who looked very good with her leg spin, and Becky Glenn. So we've an awful lot of spin options to Scotland players.
That one just drifting down the leg side with that wind hammering across our commentary position on the ground. Yeah, Priyanaz Chatterjee I thought was really impressive as well. Perhaps surprisingly only bowling 3 of her 4 overs. 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 3 yesterday. We may see her come on from this end after Bryce. But you can see the whole time that length I'm talking about from Scotland women's attack, never too full, doesn't seem like it's too short at any point, just nailing a good length over and over, trying to frustrate the Irish batters. Comes off the outside edge, would have gone straight to first slip if it was in place, but it's not. And in a sign of the slightly faster outfield again today, Lewis will get a boundary, but deceived. Beautiful bowling from Catherine Bryce. Not a chance for Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. It would have probably gone to a sort of wide first, maybe a second slip.
Yeah, good little change of pace from Catherine Bryce, completely deceiving Gabby Lewis with that one. Genuine edge, would have probably gone to that second slip. But it's ran away for 4. Very quick outfield.
Yeah, Lewis certainly looking more watchful as well, trying to combine her scoring options with surviving. She'll know that Catherine Bryce probably the pick of the Scottish attack. Just looking to get through the 7 deliveries that she has left. Good sign of that again. So that's going to be the end of the power play. A much better one from Ireland. And with that, I will bid you farewell for the moment. I'll pass you over to Isabel Joyce, who will join Andrew Blair White with the score at 33 for 2.
Yes, we can have a look at the scorecard there. Gabby Lewis 18 not out. So bright start from Rebecca Stokel, getting a couple of big boundaries away for her 10. So I'll welcome Isabel into the commentary box beside me, and certainly a power play much more full of intent today from Ireland.
Yeah, very different mindset going out. I think it looked very nervous yesterday, understandable. Chasing a low total, first time back after 20 months. It's actually, I think they would have preferred to nearly chase a big total, and then you just have to go after it. And they really just messed up the tactics, I think, yesterday. So batting first means that they can set the target. A little bit of a quicker outfield today. I think the ropes are in a little bit, and it was good to see Rebecca Stokel just playing a few free and easy shots early on, and I think the girls on the sideline will see that there aren't actually any demons in this pitch. The change of bowling now from the Dundonald end, it's Samantha Hago. Her first time bowling, didn't get thrown the ball yesterday. Short to start, and pull shot from Shauna Kavanagh. She throws her head up to the sky. She knows she should have probably scored a few more runs from that.
Yeah, we didn't see Hago yesterday. Looks to be a skiddy medium pace operator, a little bit short to start with.
Short again, bit of confusion. Sarah Bryce has a shy at the stumps, but Kavanagh, I think she would have been safe had that even hit the stumps. She is so quick between the wickets. And lovely for these two to bat together. They both like getting up and down the crease, both willing to run the runs hard, the first one hard.
Yeah, this was well judged, I think. Gabby Lewis calling Shauna Kavanagh through. A hint of hesitation there, but I think Shauna would have been well in, as you said there as well, if even it had been a direct hit. And it's been good to see that sort of aggression in the running as well as even the shot making.
That's a wild delivery. Something that we mentioned yesterday was that the tempo of the shots from Ireland was just not right. So they were just kind of hitting the ball to the fielders, no kind of strong shots or soft shots, which is exactly what they've put right today. They're either hitting through the ball or playing with soft hands. Another wide ball. Sarah Bryce so good behind the stumps there. It's a real positive for Scotland that they have a wicketkeeper who can stand up to almost all of their bowlers. Very difficult for the Irish batters, and indeed she took 4 stumpings yesterday, showing just how good she is. That's better from Hago. That's the line and length. Draws Gabby Lewis into a drive. There is protection out on the cover boundary. Other fielders out are long on, deep mid wicket and deep square leg. So a bit of a licorice all sorts field.
I'm not sure they're bowling to any sort of particular plan with that field.
Worked into the leg side by Lewis. They will push hard, but Katie McGill comes in and keeps it to 1. No, exactly. It's kind of, we might bowl short, so we're going to have protection on the leg side. Might bowl full and long on, and then might bowl full outside off, so cover out.
You'd think with the likely target I'd have thought would be bowling that 4th, 5th stump line that you'd potentially not have 3 back on the leg side.
Absolutely. I think as well, if I was captaining the Scotland team, I'd probably put a little bit more pressure on Shauna Kavanagh. Have cover in, maybe make her hit through the field once before dropping that fielder out. It showed yesterday when there was pressure on, the Irish batters weren't quite sure what to do, a lot of them coming down the wicket and getting stumped. Over the top from Lewis, just about beats mid-off, but it does plug a little bit. Mid-off does excellent fielding on the boundary there, manages to keep it in, and long on comes around to do the tidying up. Really good fielding from the Scotland team there.
Yeah, excellent fielding from Catherine Fraser. And mid-off going up back over her head. It was a good shot from Lewis. It did just slightly plug in the outfield, but it still looked like it might be going to the rope. Fraser's done excellently there, and well supported by Chatterjee as well. They always tell you to hunt in packs when you're in the field. But it's been a good start, and ends the 7th over with Ireland now 40 for 2. Gabby Lewis on 21 not out. She departed only for 4 yesterday, but this is much more like the Gabby we all know, and all the ability in the world at her fingertips.
Yeah, she puts herself under huge pressure. Gabby Lewis, been in the team for a long time for her young years, and probably hasn't had the career the last 2 or 3 years that she would have wanted. Obviously, I mean, outside of the 20 months where there has been no international cricket. And I think she puts the right amount of pressure on herself. It doesn't kind of make her freeze or anything, but she expects herself to score runs, and when she doesn't, she doesn't hide behind any excuses, which I think is a sign of a good player. So a change of bowling now from the City end. We are going to have Priyana Chatterjee, and she bowled really well yesterday. Very miserly bowler. Bowls a bit of a way swing. I'm surprised she's coming on this end, because she does swing the ball away, and the wind won't help her. It's moving across the ground from right to left as we're looking at the screen.
Yeah, very good start from Chatterjee, but it's been signalled as a no ball.
I wonder if that must have been a front foot no ball, because there are only 4 fielders outside the ring at the moment, unless one of the fielders didn't get inside. Or the other way you can bowl a no ball, of course, is by hitting the bails off the stumps, and I did see umpire Rowley Black fix the stumps there, so that could have been it. Anyway, free hit coming up, chance for Shauna Kavanagh to loosen the shackles. A good shot, kind of a lap sweep, hits it into that vacant area, fine leg, beautifully played from Shauna Kavanagh. That's 4 for her.
An excellent shot from Shauna Kavanagh. She loves to sweep, and I think that was the good option. Nobody at 45 or deep fine leg, and she's just slightly come across herself there, and that's an excellently executed lap sweep off a seam bowler.
Yeah, she's got a few different ways of playing that shot. That time opting to lean forward on the front foot instead of kind of moving her body out of the way, and I think that's the correct one to play against Chatterjee. She's got a skiddy bowler. Driven into point, well picked up by Becky Glenn there. So I think Ireland should be looking to just work the ball around the next 6 overs. Obviously when the opportunity comes, look for those boundaries, but if they can get kind of 6 and 7 and over for the next 6 or 7 overs, then they'll really set their team up for a big finish. Well defended. Good call from Kavanagh. They're both quick, but they're not that quick.
Yeah, but it's good to see that they're still trying to pinch a single there. Obviously there wasn't a single on offer. Very good fielding from Maksud in at mid-wicket, but it's good to see that they're constantly searching, trying to find those little gaps and try to find singles off those better deliveries as well.
Defended again. This is better. Much better from Chatterjee. I think she's finding it a little bit uncomfortable running up the hill. Changing the field, third man comes up and long off goes back. I think we might see a slower ball here, or possibly just a very full delivery. Slower ball it is. Well fielded and extra cover, but Catherine Bryce can't stop the single. Almost certainly stop the 4 though.
Yeah, good shot from Shauna Kavanagh, picking that slower ball. Perhaps a little bit telegraphed by that field change, but it's a good shot from Shauna, gets another single. Just about for Shauna Kavanagh, probably converting these starts into one big score to just almost announce herself as being one of these experienced players. She's seen it all, she's done it all.
Over the top, that's really well played from Lewis. Good turn and go from Kavanagh, and that's where her real strength lies. Manages to make runs for the person at the other end as well as herself by getting in and out so quickly. And good over for Ireland. And that finishes the 8th. 48 for 2. So Andrew, if you put on your coaching hat here, Ireland had a disappointing day yesterday, with the bat anyway. They obviously bowled and fielded well. I think they would have been happy at half time, keeping Scotland to 87, and then we've had a real tough day with the bat. What would you have been saying in the hotel last night?
I think you've just got to try get these, especially the younger players on the team, to really enjoy themselves. Plenty of them we've seen in the Super Series have the ability to score runs, the ability to score very quick runs as well, especially somebody like Rebecca Stokely. She can hit a big ball, she hits it straight, she hits it very hard as well. And I think even, I was saying when on commentary with Lenny, her getting out for 10 in that way, as a coach I wouldn't be angry with it, to be honest. She's taking that aggressive option. I'd much prefer her getting out the way she did today than the way she got out yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. It was there to hit probably today. She just played the wrong line, so you say right next time it was the right shot selection, which they just didn't do yesterday. Anyway, it looks like whatever Ed Joyce did say was the right thing so far anyway. We're going to have a change of bowling from the Dundonald end. It's Abdahab Maksud bowling her leg breaks, and she was very impressive yesterday. Slow and full to start.
It'd be interesting to see how they approach Maksud. The only time she slightly faltered was in her final over, where they actually put the onus back on her. So it'd be interesting to see whether they'll try to attack early.
Short and wide, and Kavanagh happy to take the single. Yeah, they talk about not letting a spinner get on top of you, and certainly the spinners yesterday got right on top of the Irish batters, and a lot of them coming down the track and falling victim to both the bowlers and Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. Is so tidy. Flatter this time, reverse from Gabby Lewis. She's tried that twice. She is good at it, but I'm not sure that now is the time to be doing it.
I suppose only just a backward point in operation, so there is gaps there.
Pulled strongly to that fielder at deep mid-wicket. One bounce and straight into the hands. It's not so much that I think the field isn't right for it, it's more you haven't been playing in 20 months and you're looking to get a good score. Maybe put that one in the back pocket until you pass 50. But I'm just showing my own conservatism there, I suppose. Sweep from Kavanagh. Plays that so well, doesn't she? Even when it's not there, she manages to get something out of it.
I think about all of them, it's about trying to manage their game as best as possible. We see Shauna, she's so good on the sweep, so it was great to see on that free hit in the last over her playing the sweep rather than trying to manufacture just another shot that potentially isn't in the locker.
Close one there for Lewis. She's lucky that didn't carry. So a good start from Abtai Maqsood. 9 overs gone, Ireland 51 for 2.
I'm going to spin the question to yourself here, Isabella. If you're having your coaching hat on, you're 51 for 2 after 9 overs. 88 was defended yesterday. If you're Ireland's coach, Ed Joyce, what are you looking for them to come in with? What would you say is par out there?
Well, I think probably 120 is par, and I know that sounds high considering what happened yesterday, but none of Scotland or Ireland's senior batters got in yesterday. Scotland have some really good batters in Catherine and Sarah Bryce in particular. You rarely see them fail twice in a row, either of them. So you'd think that either or both of them will have a day today. So regardless of how good Ireland bowl, those two top class batters are going to be difficult to keep down. Pulled again on one knee from Shauna Kavanagh. Chatterjee returning for her second over. So yeah, 120 I think, and it'd be quite a tight game. 130, 140 would be very difficult to defend.
Yeah,
sorry, difficult to defend, difficult to chase. I apologise.
I think even yesterday I was actually very impressed with the way Sarah Bryce was shaping up. Obviously a superb piece of fielding from Celeste Rack to run her out. I didn't think she actually looked in much trouble against the bowling herself. She looked to have plenty of shots in the offer. Catherine Bryce maybe a little bit ring rusty herself.
Pulled. Gabby Lewis pivots nicely on that, really well placed. Didn't get all of it, but the placement means that one's gone over the rope. That's 4.
Yeah, excellent shot from Lewis here. Chatterjee just a little bit short. Gabby Lewis loves this pull shot. She's been able to swivel on it nicely and most importantly pick the gap. No fielder, back with a square on that leg side field, and she's managed to turn on it enough that it's hit the boundary.
I love this about Gabby Lewis. No matter what happened last game, it's in the past. She is such a good aggressive batter, such a good player to watch. Never lets the previous innings or 2 innings stop her playing her game. Pulled again. There is protection there. Gets onto her a little bit quicker than she thought it would. I think that's Lister out there, but still keeps it to 1. Gabby Lewis hitting it strongly enough. It's an easy piece of fielding.
A good strong shot from Lewis. Loves that back of a length delivery that she can pull, and she seems to be able to hit that pull shot in an awful lot of different areas as well from a similar enough length delivery.
That's the difference in the players there, isn't it? It's not too much fuller than the previous 2, but Kavanagh defending it probably would need to be sweeping to side beforehand for her to get that into the leg side. So Ireland, a much different camp I would say than they were yesterday at the same point in the game. Certainly the second innings anyway, so 57 for 2. Another slower ball appeal, but I think she knew immediately that there was bat on that from Kavanagh.
I don't think there was too much going for that appeal, to be honest, but it's been an excellent first 10 overs from Ireland, and there'll be a little bit of rueful looks, I suspect, why they couldn't bat like this yesterday, but it's one of those first game back in so long that you're entitled to be a little bit nervous, and they seem to be playing with an awful lot more carefree attitude today.
And another lap shot from Kavanagh. Early calls of 2. She didn't get that one quite as well as the previous over. It does come back for 2. Must have been Gabby Lewis telling her to back her skills, I'd imagine. Good finish to the over from Ireland. 10 overs gone. 59 for 2.
I'd be interested to see whether Scotland will potentially go for spin from both ends as we have a look at the scorecard there. Lovely little partnership brewing here between Gabby Lewis and Shauna Kavanagh. 29 and 16 respectively for them. Looks an awful lot more of a happy scorecard than it did yesterday.
Absolutely, and just having a look at what they're scoring per over without really doing anything out of the ordinary. They've scored 8 off that last over. You might think that lap shot from Kavanagh is risky, but not for her. That's one of her best shots. So Abta Maksud returns for her second. Onto the back foot for Lewis. It's well placed, wide of extra cover. Good fielding on the boundary. That's Elsa Lister again. Beautiful shot from Gabby Lewis. You don't see too many female players punching through the offside off the back foot and almost scoring boundaries.
Yeah, such a good timer of the ball, Lewis.
Down and over the top. That's beautiful. That's going to go all the way. Excuse me, 1 bounce and 4. She hit the right way, she hit with the wind, but just about short of that boundary rope. Gabby Lewis really getting into her stride now.
Yeah, excellent from Lewis here. This is an absolutely picturesque shot, using her feet, going inside out over extra cover. Nearly a 6, just a 1 bounce 4 there from Lewis, but she's really beginning to put the foot on the accelerator here.
Pace off. That reverse sweep comes out again, gets it fine. This might not go all the way, but Kavanagh will make and it does go all the way. She got the placement right. It's back-to-back boundaries for Lewis.
Yeah, she's really putting pressure here on Maksud. Excellent batting, goes for that reverse sweep. This time she gets a third time lucky for Lewis on this shot. It's a good shot with the field the way it is. Just that one fielder backward of square on the offside, and it has prompted also a change of the field. So real clever batting. Hago now going into a short third man area, leaves a massive area on the leg side now to potentially even just take a single and get off strike.
Absolutely, that's probably the change that Lewis wanted. Down the track again, punches it down the ground to mid off, long off I should say. And it's clever batting from Lewis. Recognised that she couldn't score another boundary and was happy to take the single. So Maksud will probably be happy to be bowling to Shauna Kavanagh. The field changes again. Third man comes into mid wicket. Probably a good option considering Kavanagh's favourite shot is the regular sweep as opposed to the reverse. And she does sweep. Lewis calling through, and probably the throw to the wrong end there from Abby Aitken Drummond. You nearly always have to throw to the near end, don't you? Chances of getting a run out down the far end very unlikely.
Yes, but it's been a canny little knock this from Shauna Kavanagh, just rotating well, making sure to get Gabby Lewis back on strike as much as possible. Clever innings so far. Down
again, in the air, chance, and down. Chatterjee at mid-on, had it in the hands, just didn't manage to hold on to it, so a life for Gabby Lewis. Hearts and mouths time for the Ireland camp, but she survives and that's 11 gone. Ireland on 72 and still for 2.
Yeah, big chance this for Chatterjee. She did actually the hard work, she made the ground up, just couldn't hold on. That could potentially be a big moment in this game with Gabby Lewis on 41 not out, as you can see from your screens there. A 50 partnership between these two, 52 from 49 deliveries, and it's been excellently played. Lewis more the aggressor and Shauna Kavanagh playing a perfect foil beside her.
Yeah, it's probably the role that Kavanagh is used to. She's used to kind of being busy, getting up and down the crease, batting with a senior partner, and then she used to always bat 6 or 7, being she can hit a big ball down the back end of the innings. Catherine Fraser coming on, swept straight away by Lewis. And Catherine Fraser so impressive yesterday, just 16. She's a real classical off spinner, isn't she?
Yeah, she's got a lovely action, and it's going to be a tough test of her abilities because she's bowling with both the spin and wind going to the leg side. I thought we might see Abtaha Maqsood from that end, getting the ball to spin away.
Swept by Lewis fine this time, but doesn't get much on it. Yeah, it's a strange one because yesterday I thought Catherine Bryce got her bowlers from the right end, and they've all pretty much swapped ends apart from herself today. So I wonder, is it just play hard, play, I don't know, like they're learning how to bowl when they're not bowling from their favourite end or something, or else it's just the way that it's worked out today. Flatter that time, down the leg side though. So you can see that the way that Lewis has played so far is already playing on Fraser's mind. I thought yesterday she was able to kind of bring out all of her deliveries, had a good arm ball, has a good understanding with her wicketkeeper. Down the track from Lewis. Just a single out to deep cover.
I think even the first delivery of the game signalled the intent. Catherine Fraser, I think she might have thought she was going to get away with tossing one up. First delivery of the game, Rebecca Stokel pummeled it over mid-on for a boundary. It just sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Down the track from Kavanagh, a little bit agricultural but effective. Gets it in between those two fielders and a misfield. That's a welcome boundary for Kavanagh.
Yeah, Kavanagh using her feet, getting this away to the leg side, and it's just an unfortunate mistake out there from Ailsa Lister on the boundary. Should be a little bit disappointed with that.
I think the ball's coming on a little bit quicker than Kavanagh and Lewis are expecting. Fraser bowling kind of with the wind there, so she had to come across that one, Kavanagh, but did well to survive. Well played from Kavanagh, beautifully played behind point. Katie McGill does great work on the boundary to keep it to 2, but really nicely played from Kavanagh, and she's starting to look a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, she's moved on to 24 not out, quickly getting up towards a run of ball there. I just don't believe that Fraser's bowling from the right end here whatsoever.
And in the air into the offside, but doesn't get all of it, and probably is happy she didn't, as it was going straight to that fielder on the boundary. A great over from Ireland, 11 from it, 12 gone. The score is 83 for 2.
I think Scotland are potentially in a position here where they need to make something happen. I don't know whether we might see the reintroduction of Katie McGill. Looks like it. She's taken off her cap there and just trying to take a wicket here, because this partnership is slightly getting away, or the Ireland women's team getting away from Scotland here.
Yeah, and there's the story so far. It's a much happier one for Ireland today. Yeah, they won't want to look again at the score sheet from yesterday, but Gabby Lewis and Shauna Kavanagh have come together for a really good partnership. Gabby Lewis on 43. And this bowling card for Scotland.
Yeah, McGill and Bryce in the wickets again, one apiece for them. Other than that, runs have been flowing. Chatterjee, who was so miserly yesterday, going at 8 and over, as is Abtaha Maqsood. 9 and over for Catherine Fraser. So it's been an awful lot harder for Scotland today.
Katie McGill starts well with the dot. You can see the intent there from Shauna Kavanagh, though, looking to get a single even though she was defending it, and that was something they didn't really look like doing yesterday. An edge, but safe. She seems to be just slightly playing across the ball, Kavanagh, but the wind kind of playing into a few Ireland players' favour today, helping it sail over fielders' heads. The only one who probably didn't get the look was Laura Delaney.
Yeah, she's unfortunate. Hit her ball very well, but straight to backward point.
A slower ball from McGill. She didn't change the field, so it wasn't telegraphed on that occasion. So she seems like someone who likes being put on in pressure situations. McGill, yesterday she came in and Scotland in a lot of trouble, and she looked busy and was willing to take on the bowlers, and she took 3 wickets as well. Short this time, edged but backward of point, and that's going to fly away to the boundary. 4 more.
Yeah, great shot from Lewis, and she moves on to 47 as a result from just 38 deliveries. Slightly thick, edgy. To give the batter the benefit of the doubt here. A little bit of width. Lewis manufacturing width, perhaps. Standing outside her leg stump on another boundary, and she's really motoring now.
Yeah, another change in the field. And they're bringing in a 3rd man, taking out mid-wicket. And Sarah Bryce, so experienced, she's bringing the changes in the field. Strongly hit to extra cover and taken. That's Lewis gone. Catherine Bryce, you can't give her a chance in there. And McGill, she's the game changer again.
Yep, same again from McGill as yesterday. She comes into the attack. She takes the big wicket of Gabby Lewis for 47. Lewis trying to drive this one between extra cover and mid-off, but hit it in the air, and unfortunately Catherine Bryce isn't the fielder you want to be taking on there. But a super innings from Gabby Lewis coming to a close there. An excellent 47, and looked right back to her best.
Yeah, almost hit it too well, didn't she? She'll be very unhappy with herself not converting and making another international 50, but she did the main part of the job, which was, you know, going out there and playing with intent. Her mindset is always so positive, and her team relies on her for that. So Orla Prendergast, Ireland's number 5, coming out to join her clubmate Shauna Kavanagh. Really pleasing on the eye, Orla Prendergast, but just tends to hit the ball a little bit uppish early in her innings. So we saw it yesterday. She scored a lovely boundary and then hit one in the air. Just a little bit of inexperience showing. Survives the first ball. Looked like she'd decided no matter what, she was blocking that, didn't she? So a successful over for Scotland there. 1 wicket from it. It's 13 gone. And Ireland are 88 for 3. So you see, we mentioned yesterday Orla Prendergast's favourite player is Jasprit Bumrah. You can let me know what you think about that later on, Andrew. For now, he's taking a break, and I'm joined by another Andrew, this time Leonard.
Yeah, hello Izzy.
Hi Lenny, how are you?
I'm very well. I was really, really enjoying that partnership, and I don't know whether it was the change in the commentary box upcoming. You could just feel it, couldn't you? So impressive, Lewis and Kavanagh. That partnership feels like a completely different team, a different batting lineup, a different energy, a different vibe, and so sorely needed. Yeah,
you really see who the players that are going to stand up are when the team is under pressure. So we have another change in bowling. Close from Kavanagh there. It's Abtam Maksud returning from the end that she probably should have bowled from all along. We were just discussing the incorrect ends that the bowlers were bowling from. She'll want to bowl able to get that drift into the batter.
I used to hate that as a leg spinner when your captain brought you on the wrong end.
Swept again from Kavanagh, this time fine. She'll get back for a second. Didn't get all of it, but hit it well enough, and she's quick enough to come back for 2. I think all bowlers need to have the right end, but none more so probably than a leg spinner.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were both explaining it perfectly well, but in essence you want the ball to drift into the batsman or batter and turn away from the batter if you can.
Down the track from Kavanagh, misses, but so does Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. A rare miss for her. There's a lot going on in front of her, but another chance goes down for Scotland. They didn't really miss any chances yesterday, and possibly that could be the difference between the 2 games.
Yeah, certainly the drop catch of Lewis at mid-on was a surprising one. But again, you can see the demonstration there. Drift into the right-hander is what you want, then the turn away. The converse for an off-spinner, you want the ball to drift away from the right-hander and then turn in.
Down the track again from Kavanagh. Gets it this time down to long off. Yeah, well, we had Catherine Fraser bowling from the end that Abtam Maksud is on, bowling from right now, and of course, as you're explaining, she wants the ball to drift away and turn in, and with the wind that we have right now going across the ground from right to left as we look at it, that's not going to happen. So
no, it's a strong wind as well. It really is. It's causing havoc with our temporary tents in the background. Beautiful leg spinner though, Maksud. Good control.
Yeah, really nice to watch. But Gabby Lewis took her on, and she looks a little bit less confident than she probably did yesterday. Or Prendergast has decided she's going to play the kind of foil role, and Shauna Kavanagh is probably taking on the aggressor. These two will be really good to watch running together. Probably the two quickest in the Irish team. Slower from Maksud, and an easy catch in extra cover. Really good tactics from Maksud. And it's 2 in 2 overs for Scotland. Shauna Kavanagh's got to go for 31.
So often we see this with a partnership. One brings two. Change of ends has worked for Maksud. Tossed up nicely down the track from Kavanagh. She did get to the pitch of it, but she was reaching, she was stretching out because she didn't go down towards the ball. She went straight down. A good innings though from Kavanagh. 31 of 35 deliveries for her. Catherine Bryce, a much simpler catch than the stunning grab she took yesterday. 2 fours for Kavanagh. A good knock. Ireland have a brilliant platform. 94 for 4. And it's oh so different to yesterday.
Yeah, really important now that the batters coming in behind Gabby and Shauna playing the same way that they saw their teammates do up until now. Don't go into your box. Make sure you keep on attacking. 6 overs left. So much work left to do. Wonder if Shauna Kavanagh should just keep on sweeping. That's what I would do if I was her, and certainly what I did do when I was playing. You know, you don't have to have all the shots. Especially when you're playing you've got one really, really strong shot like that. I think she should be sticking to sweeping. But I
think a bit of praise for the bowler as well, because clearly hanging the ball outside the off stump, she'd picked up that sweeping was Kavanagh's strength.
Absolutely.
Getting it wide outside the off stump and tempting Kavanagh down the track. Which, yeah, certainly a more confused Scottish performance today. There's Laura Moritz. She's going to come in at number 6. A.B. de Villiers, as you were talking about yesterday, her favourite player. She was certainly trying to smash them all around the ground yesterday. Showed signs of promise in her short innings.
Yeah, so a change of bowling. Chatterjee returning from the Dundonald end. So 2 new batters at the crease. Scotland will feel a lot more comfortable seeing both Lewis and Kavanagh back in the hutch. Down the leg side, Bryce again doesn't tidy up behind the stumps, and it's signalled a wide by umpire Alan Neal.
The wind just makes life difficult for everyone. The umpires, the batters, the bowlers, the wicket keepers. Ball drifting and swinging and going all over the place, and the good tight lines that we saw yesterday from the Scottish Wildcats, not anything like as effective today. And that's, as you said, Isabel, very much down to the change in approach from the Irish batters. Much more aggressive, a lot more intent from them today.
So Lara Moritz facing up for the first time, and again down the leg side. Chatterjee doesn't look happy with herself, and the wind wouldn't really be playing on her mind, because she does swing the ball away and she's bowling from the correct end. So just possibly a few nerves, maybe a bit of tiredness.
Yeah,
First 2 in 2 days. 2
games in 2 days. It's going to be 4 in 4 days for all these players.
Short this time and a miss. A good comeback from Chatterjee.
Much better line outside the off stump and beats the attempted back foot punch from Moritz. No real foot movement from Moritz. But I think Ed Joyce, the Ireland women's head coach, is going to be delighted with the change in tact today. There would have been nerves yesterday, but I think, as we saw him saying in the outfield, not good enough for international standard yesterday. They've bounced back already.
Worked into the offside from Moritz. That's again something we didn't see them do yesterday. Just get off the mark earlier in your innings, get into it, first 5-6 balls and then attack. It just looked like it was either defend or wild attack yesterday.
It was a bit blocker hit yesterday, wasn't it? And I think the key thing is now for them not to lose momentum. Still look north of probably 140 if possible. 6 overs remain.
Chatterjee not happy with that run up. Perhaps the wind playing on her mind, as you mentioned. It's always tough when you bowl a couple of wides, isn't it? You start getting puffed near the end of your over, and then you're more likely to bowl more wides.
Yeah, difficult with the wind as well to get that run up measured. Don't want to have any no-ball free hits like we did yesterday. One today already.
Short this time. Pulled into the leg side from Prendergast, but doesn't quite get all of it. They won't take on the throw of Glenn. Good decision that.
Just taking a little lap around the ground there, Isabel, during my break in commentary. You always get good perspectives from seeing around, and you got a really good sense as to Gabby Lewis's range of shots, the angles and positions she was looking to work the ball into, but you also got her sense as to just how impressive the Scottish fielding's been.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Like, the grinds should all be the same, but they're not. It's different dimensions in different places, and the way that, you know, there can be slight angles and tilts and the wind and all that kind of thing kind of plays into it. So you're right, it feels like a bigger grind than others in terms of cutting down angles.
It's quite exposed as well, and the large playing fields of Stormont. We were talking yesterday about those boundary ropes, very large playing area.
It's much better from Chatterjee. Just as I said, it signalled a wide from umpire Alan Neal.
Right on the guideline, maybe a little bit harsh. Chatterjee not too happy. The ropes look to me, Isabel, as though they've maybe come in 5 or 7 yards, but not a huge amount. Still a very big playing surface for a women's T20I.
Yeah, I think it's probably Chatterjee has a reason to be a bit unhappy there. Yeah, it's 5 or 6 yards in, but also it's a bit drier, so it's nearly more like 10 in compared to yesterday. Again, short pulled again, this time by Moritz. Also doesn't get all of it. She's kind of hard to pull, Chatterjee, quite skiddy.
Almost a slingy action. We haven't seen an awful lot of short stuff either from any of the Scottish bowlers. Their lengths have been good and full. Any punishments come from the fuller deliveries.
Yeah, the only one who could really pull Chatterjee was Lewis, and that's because she picks up length so quickly and has probably the quickest swing out of all the Irish players. Worked into the leg side from Prendergast again. I think that's something that Coach Ed Joyce would have been happier with.
Yeah, no doubt. There's the bowling figures. 6 bowlers used. Just the solitary over for Samantha Hago so far. And we haven't seen anything from Becky Glenn, just the one over for Becky Glenn yesterday. So plenty of options in this last 5. Obviously, Catherine Bryce will certainly bowl one of them. Will we see a return to the off spin of Fraser, or too big a gamble, a little expensive so far today?
I think we'll see Fraser again. Yes, Gabby Lewis kind of got on top of her today, but she was so successful against all the other Irish batters yesterday. I'd be very surprised not to see her again, just as a change of end probably.
5 overs remain. Actually, to continue now.
Slow again, unable to capitalise on that. Or Prendergast throws her head up to the sky.
This is the problem now for Ireland, as they've gone past the 100 in the 15th over. They can't afford too many dots.
Flatter this time, played into the leg side. Just the one bounce. And Prendergast will be unhappy with herself there. She didn't try and run the first one hard. Probably could have come back on the misfield with the fielder on the leg side throwing into the wind.
Noticeable difference between the wickets between Prendergast and Moritz. Even Moritz not quickly threw her to there. Kavanagh and Lewis were so impressive in that regard. If you can't find the boundaries, you've got to find your twos.
And just pushed by Moritz. That's well played from her. She looks a little bit worried about coming out of her crease. Understandable considering her 4 stumpings yesterday. We were just complaining about the running between the wickets, Andrew, and they've just improved it.
I was talking last night, reviewing the game, flicking through a few of the highlights. I couldn't get over Laura Moritz's backing up. She was almost halfway down the track by the time the ball had got to the batter. And just there, I think Maxud was maybe watching the replay as well, because she was giving a reminder.
Bit of luck for Orla Prendergast, inside edge. They'll go to her end, but she is so quick between the wickets. She'll get home safely. Bit of luck for her, she needs it.
Yeah, no real sense of fluency or timing from Prendergast in either yesterday's innings or today. We know she provides good power to this Irish middle order, good levers.
Nicely played from Ritz, but Catherine Bryce has great footwork in there. So that's 16 gone. Ireland move to 107 for 4. I was discussing yesterday's game with a couple of people yesterday, Lenny, and one of the things that you find with women's cricket and with such a young squad is if someone like Orla Prendergast is expected to do a huge amount coming in at number 5, and I don't know if she's had to do it for her club. When do you have to go into international cricket and win a game for your team in that kind of circumstance without having done it for just even your club side? It's a huge amount of pressure on a lot of these players, so they're having to learn on their feet. The more cricket they play, the better they get. It's so important that they play as many games as they can before those qualifiers later in the summer and then later in the year.
Yeah, still very early in her international career. Prendergast, her 10th T20I today. But this is what this series is really all about. They are T20Is, they count towards the rankings, they count towards international status and structure. They're important games in their own right, but they really are preparation for that European qualifier later in the summer, and just so important to get the side back on the pitch.
Absolutely no doubt that that's true. Driven strongly from Ritz, manages to get it past Catherine Bryce at extra cover, but Samantha Hago does well. It comes around at mid-off. They're starting to look like they are going to attack now, Moritz and Prendergast.
Yeah, still 6 wickets in hand, so they can start throwing the kitchen sink at it, and that's where they should be targeting, down the ground, mid-off and mid-on in the circle.
She must have heard you. Called through the single. There's a misfield at mid-on. They'll come back for a second, Lara Moritz. For turning blind, something I know you're not a fan of, Lenny. So she had to turn very far before she could decide whether she was going to go again, but manages to return for the second.
But the good intent with the running immediately was the thing that put the pressure on the fielder, Catherine Fraser, at mid-on. And that's almost brought about the second run, let alone the single. To a Nelson, plenty of time to get this total up.
Driven again from Prendergast, so it's such beautiful hands and extra cover from Catherine Bryce. She hit it so well, Prendergast. I thought she was in trouble for a second.
Really good cricket all around, just slightly over pitched, but not a half volley by any stretch. Perfect cover drive, and the quality of fielding from Catherine Bryce in these first 2 20Is, I'm sure we'll see it throughout the week, absolutely outstanding.
So a change in...
Sorry, he is. He's bringing that change in the field because of all of those runs looking like they're going to come down the ground. Mid-on is going to go back to long on.
Yeah, but mid-off still up though, so that's the area to target for Prendergast. But it's mid-on where she hits it long on coming in to field it. So a good change in the field from captain Catherine Bryce. She's very, very experienced, has been playing for this Scotland team for a long time, and of course she'll be playing in the 100 later this year, something she'll be looking forward to. She's playing for the Loughborough Lightning.
Yeah, the 100's going to come in later in the summer. Fantastic to see it, having men's and women's competitions running in parallel.
Onto the back foot from Ritz. Well bowled from Chatterjee. So 17 gone, a good one from Scotland. Just 5 from it for Ireland. 112 for 4.
Getting a good sense here, Isabel, as to why so many are so excited about Orla Prendergast. We saw her opening the bowling yesterday with really good pace and accuracy, probably the fastest of the bowlers on show between both sides. Batting at 5 as well. We don't want to overhype the expectations, but she almost feels like a exact replacement for Kim Garth in many ways.
Yeah, it's a good comparison. My fear for her is it's a huge amount of pressure to bat 5 and open the bowling. Elise Perry, I remember when she was coming up, she could have batted of the top order and opened the bowling, but they decided she had to focus on her bowling for a good 4 or 5 years before they'd move her up. So Catherine Fraser returning down the track immediately from Prendergast, nicely played, backward of point. She'll look for 2. She's taking on the arm of McGill. Great running from her teammates, showing their appreciation from the tent.
Yeah, you get a sense of the chase is on. Not quite the chase is on, but the chase is on to set a target here. And it's a little bit of a gamble going back to the off spin. Could bring wickets, but it could also bring runs, and this is going to be a crucial over. Might just see the 1 over of off spin here.
Yeah, really should be taking this on, hitting with the wind into the leg side as well. 2 fielders out there, but The wind's so strong. Hits it leg side but straight to one of those two fielders. A misfield though, and they'll come back for a second.
I suppose that's half the problem. You're hitting with the wind. It's a very big boundary out there, probably 65, 70 yards, but the field is perfectly protected, and we saw this all throughout the non-power play overs yesterday. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square leg. Very difficult to get a boundary away. Got to try and somehow find the gap.
This time only manages to find the fielder from Prendergast. I agree with you there, Lenny, but I think if I was in the tent, I'd be telling the girls, no matter what, you've got to run two, because those fielders are going to be on the rope when they take the ball, no matter how well you hit it, and then they've got to throw into the wind, so it should always be two. Flatter this time, in the air, down. Another chance goes a begging for Scotland and a life for Orla Prendergast.
Should have been taken. Surprised to see that one go down. The standard of fielding's been really, really good. Tempting, teasing, flighted delivery. Prendergast got right down towards it, was looking to hit it over the head of that straight mid-wicket fielder, but it's immediately been put down.
Down the track again, but finds the fielder at extra cover. It just seems to be coming down no matter what here, Prendergast, and Catherine Fraser's such a clever bowler. Bit of danger for her. Down again, over extra cover. That's a beautiful shot. 1, 2 bounces and over the rope.
A shot of real class and real authority. I thought the shot of the day so far was a very similar one from Gabby Lewis, inside out over extra cover, but this time mid-off up in the circle, and that's punished the drop. The drop remarkably coming from Catherine Bryce of all people. But mid-off was up in the circle, just a skip down the track, as we saw her do so often during the over, and rather than targeting the leg side this time where all the fielders are, she said I'll take the aerial route over the offside. Brilliant batting, good reward. 8 runs coming from the over. Those 3 dots made up for with the boundary. 12 deliveries remain, the 120's up, so we're going to be north of a run of ball. Can Ireland get up to about 140 here?
I think if you'd offered them that at the start of the game, they would have bitten your hand off, Andrew.
Even Ed?
Even Ed.
Even the head coach?
Even Ed. I think after yesterday, definitely would have taken that. And really pleasing to see Orla Prendergast playing over the offside. Just shows the strength that she has and the lovely easy swing. She's a timing player. Seems to have finally found that timing. So Katie McGill returning from the Dundonald end. Edge from Lara Moritz. There is a fielder in third man, so just the single. Orla Prendergast getting herself back on strike. No doubt that's what both players want.
Plenty of protection for McGill again in the leg side. There's 4 fielders in the leg side, only fine leg in the circle. So deep backward square leg, a deep mid wicket and a long on.
Slower ball played through the offside from Prendergast. Look, only taking the 1 run there. I would like to see them take on that fielder. So difficult to throw that all the way in from that boundary into the wind.
Prendergast moves to 20. It's been an impressive innings. She's been given the life by the drop from Catherine Bryce. Gonna look to capitalise over the course of the last 10 deliveries here.
Full toss. Moritz picks out mid-off, decides to take her on. And it is hit and run time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that you can hit and run right now, you've got 6 wickets in hand. It's a blustery, windy day. Fielders in the circle, even those in the circle, are generally back 20, 25 yards. So wherever the ball goes, let's take 1 to those in the circle. As you say, push 2 to those in the deep.
Comes shuffles down the track again. Looking like they're going to take on the fielder this time. Decide against it. That's well fielded by Ailsa Lister in the deep.
For me, the learning point there has to be the initial intent. As soon as you hit it, both batsmen should be sprinting and saying, let's push for 2, rather than what actually happened there was they ran the first, they got to the end, and as they were turning, they lost all momentum because they didn't know whether they were coming back for 2 or not.
Absolutely. They didn't get in and out at all. Another slower ball from McGill. She really likes bowling those.
Hiding it away outside the off stump. Clever bowling. using the wind and her natural shape as well. Again, fine glove work from Sarah Bryce behind the stumps. Not just making that world record her own 18 months ago, but backing it up by equaling it yesterday. 4 stumpings.
Over the top from Lara Moritz. That one's going to go all the way. The first maximum of the Ireland innings.
Well, shots pumped down the ground. She says her idol, her favourite player, is A.B. de Villiers. A shot that would absolutely have graced his bat. Held her shape beautifully. It was a little bit into the slot, but Moritz said, I'm good enough for that. Mid-off again in the circle. Again, the Irish batters targeting the right sections of the ground. It's flown all the way with the wind, pushing it down there for a maximum 6. 140's not just on, maybe north of 140 now. 6 deliveries remain. It's 130 for 4.
Yeah, amazing how a 6 can save an over for the batting team, isn't it? At that moment in time, it was looking like Katie McGill was bowling a brilliant 19th over for her team. And then Lara Moritz came into the fray, hitting the team's first maximum. So what can they do in the last 6 balls? Catherine Bryce comes in back into the attack. She's probably their most incisive bowler. I like this field she's set. She's bringing cover in, knows how hard it is to hit into the wind. She also moves the ball into the batter, so very, very difficult to get that through the offside. Has long off, long on, deep straight mid wicket and deep backward square, so really difficult to score any boundaries.
Yeah, career best for Lara Moritz with the bat and T20 eyes with that 6 as well.
Prendergast plays down the ground but doesn't hit wide of that fielder, so just the single. But Moritz won't worry about hitting the ball. She knows she can whack it over the boundary rope as well as Prendergast.
You'd have to imagine going to be into the leg side, targeting again with the wind, but there's a lot of fielders out there, protection on the leg side in the deep.
Clubs it down the ground. Prendergast takes a tumble. She's so keen to get in and out. I think it would have been 2 if she hadn't fallen down there.
Giggles from the Irish tent on the sideline as well. Good evasive action taken though from Orla Prendergast. It shows the power Moritz does possess though with the bat. This has been a really impressive little partnership, coming together just at the right time, just after the back-to-back wickets fell from Lewis and Kavanagh.
Hits it in the air, goes straight though. That's the place to go. Moritz again doesn't get in and out quickly enough. Work to do there for her.
Should have been 2 that time.
Should have been 2.
Yeah, it bisected the 2 fielders out in the deep, and I think with the ball going early there's plenty of time to get back for 2, but just a single to the total.
Finds the gap in between cow corner and long on. Doesn't hit it well enough though, so just the 2 from Moritz.
Yeah, much better running, not from Moritz this time, but from Prendergast. Immediately, as soon as she saw the direction of the delivery, she said 2 to her partner. She was in and out as soon as she turned. Good running. Those 1s into 2s make a big difference to your total at the end of a T20I.
Just a defence from Moritz. Ran that one well. Bit of respect for the bowler there. We don't usually see that from Lara Moritz.
Yeah, didn't try to heave that one into the leg side or club it down the ground. I think she wants some red ink, maybe. Just taking the single to get on strike. It's been a really, really good partnership, this.
So last ball. Down the track again. Edge, but well fielded in third man by Chatterjee. So a good final over from Catherine Bryce. Just the 7 from it. But I think Ireland will be going into the clubhouse happy with that performance. 137 for 4 from their 20. A much changed performance, Andrew.
Really impressive. Feels like a different Irish side today. There were nerves around yesterday. Those nerves have gone. A fantastic job, not just done by the team but by the coaching staff as well. Ed Joyce and his support staff have turned things around, taken all the learnings from yesterday, and a very fine partnership firstly between Gabby Lewis and Shauna Kavanagh was then followed up by one of equal quality from Orla Prendergast and Lara Moritz. That final partnership worth 43 and coming in just 6 overs. So a really good finish to the innings, and just 4 wickets lost, and you'd have to think maybe advantage Ireland and possibly going to be able to square the series at the end of the second T20I.
Yeah, 136 is definitely a very competitive total on this ground. Quite a big ground, and if you defend the boundaries correctly, it's very difficult to score. 137.
Yeah, the scoreboard's telling you a cropper here at the
That's it.
ground. It's just updating. It is 137. That's confirmed by our scores and Cricinfo. There's the bowling figures. Catherine Fraser, 3 overs, none for 26 with her off spin. Catherine Bryce probably the standout again, 1 for 22 for her. But good stuff from McGill, even though she was pumped down the ground for that big 6. And again, I really like the leg spin of Maksud. I'd love to have seen her figures if she bowled all 4 overs from the City end instead of the Dundonald end. But those 2 good partnerships, the ones I referred to, Izzy for the 3rd wicket and then for the 5th wicket, have given it potentially advantage Ireland.
Yeah, Gabby Lewis played a great innings, but Shauna Kavanagh was there to help her. She turned the strike over really well, and then Prendergast and Moritz at the end played a really good hand. Scotland could have really pegged them back, but Prendergast and Moritz were up to the task. So that's the end of the first innings. Ireland have set the target for Scotland. It's 138 that they'll have to get. It's 10 minutes in between, so we'll see you back here shortly for the second innings. to Stormont in Belfast for Game 2 in the Celtic International T20 Challenge. Earlier we saw Ireland bat and set a good total, 137. So Scotland requiring 138 to go 2-0 up in the series. So big 20 overs to come and a huge task ahead for the Scotland openers.
Thank you, Izzy. Yeah, really enjoyed that first innings. Felt like this new dawn for this new Irish side, this Ireland women's team. Orla Prendergast really impressive with the bat at the end. She's going to open with the ball.
Off the mark straight away for Sarah Bryce, down to third man, almost a carbon copy of the opening ball of the match yesterday. Amy Hunter a little bit off target with her throw. They'll find it a bit more difficult to field today. They were so impressive in the field yesterday, Ireland. But conditions a little bit more difficult with this wind.
Yeah, you probably can't quite see it, maybe getting the occasional hint of it with the wind blowing through the shirts and umpires into baseball caps instead of the normal, more traditional cricket hats. It is very blustery, very gusty, difficult.
Straight through and gone. A wicket, second ball for Prendergast. Glenn bows her head. But that's a beauty from Orla Prendergast. Top of middle and off. Exactly what Ireland wanted.
The high fives are out. The hop, skip and a jump is out in celebration from Orla Prendergast. Beautiful bowling this. Coming into the right-hander. The perfect delivery. Hits the top of middle stump. Knocks both bails off. There's no finer sight for an opening bowler. Orla Prendergast doing the business with bat and ball for Ireland.
Impressive start from Prendergast, setting the tone for Ireland. Becky Glenn, she looked nervous before she came out, was doing some throwdowns in front of us here. Mark Coles, her coach, giving her some throwdowns, and she didn't look confident. Didn't get a go at the ball today, so an indifferent day for her. And that's going to bring the skipper out to the middle. Catherine Bryce joins her sister, and really you'd have to think the winning of the game has to be right there in the middle for Scotland.
Yeah, going to be an awful lot riding on this partnership. The two Bryce sisters, the stars of this Scotland Wildcats side, and yesterday the scorecard, nobody making more than 20. Sarah Bryce falling for 14, Catherine Bryce making 12, Katie McGill the top scorer with 20, but not a lot shown by either side of the bat yesterday. Different today for Ireland. Can it be different today for Scotland?
Looks to go through the field, half stop from Delaney. Gabby Lewis and chases it down, keeps it to 1. I think we'll see a lot of desperation in the field from Ireland today. They've been impressive. Scotland were brilliant in the field yesterday, not as good today. Ireland will be looking to keep their standards up. Always difficult playing back-to-back games.
Great diving stop from Laura Delaney though, full commitment. Diving early across to her left, probably saves a run or two.
Shorter this time, well placed or not. Lara Moritz straight onto that. Looked like it was going past her. She's been a live wire in the field.
Yeah, the general standing of fielding, I know we saw a couple of drop catches today from Scotland, but the general standing of fielding the first 2 days really, really impressive from both sides. Saying that we need to bring some of this youthful energy and vigour from the women's side into the men's side for Ireland. Really impressive stuff.
Full this time, all played from Sarah Bryce, but Cara Murray down there at Milan does the tidying up. Something that I think is really important for these two teams is how good the bowling and fielding has been. It's really, as you said, this is training in a way, and unfortunately if you're training against poor bowling and fielding, you can get away with it when you come against Australia, New Zealand, those kind of teams. It doesn't do you any favours, so this will be even more important for these two teams, you feel, than it usually is. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You get the idea. They're nearly training against a higher standard, or playing against a higher standard.
I don't think you want to repeat the word training too much for either of these sides, because it's all they've done for 2 years. They're sick and tired of training. They wanted to get back on the pitch, and they are back on the pitch. End of the first over, it's 2 for 1. Can I ask you, how well thought of in global women's cricket are Sarah and Catherine Bryce, starring not just for Scotland but doing a really good job in the domestic competitions there in England as well?
Yeah, Catherine was nominated for an ICC award in 2019. She's really well thought of. Both these players playing in the 100 later this year. I'm impressed by Sarah Bryce with the gloves. I've come across her actually a few years ago when I was playing for the Hobart Hurricanes. She was a rookie and did a lot of training under Julia Price, very successful wicketkeeper for Australia. So you can kind of see that coaching there, really well thought of. And we've Ava Canning now, her second game for Ireland. Starts off just as she finished yesterday. She was brilliant on debut.
Interesting thing here for me, Ava Canning operating from the same end she bowled from yesterday, but it's completely different conditions. We've got I don't want to quite say gale force wind, but certainly a very steady breeze rolling across the ground from right to left on your picture. Canning bowls big in-swingers. We saw her get her first T20 international wicket yesterday. She'll have to bowl them against the wind.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is that they've 3 bowlers who bowl into the batter, and Orla Prendergast is more a swing bowler. She'll actually use the swing as opposed to just her action. So Ava Canning more moves the ball in with her action than really with any legitimate swing. She kind of bowls it from the arm as opposed to with the ball. So it's probably why they've decided also Prendergast the senior bowler. That's well played from Catherine Bryce. Classic through the offside, splits the fielders in point and cover.
Magnificent shot all the way along the ground. This is the problem, there's not a huge amount of margin for error when you bowl big induckers like Canning is bowling. She starts this well outside the off stump and it's too wide, and although that offside field is absolutely stacked, it's a packed offside field, 5 fielders all in the circle. Gets it through for a boundary 4.
Yeah, 2 fielders out in the leg side on the boundary. You'd have to think it'd be difficult to hit it that way into the wind. Better from Canning. Starts off straighter that time. Lara Moritz a bit unconventional with her fielding. Starts off on the knees and crawls along, but does the job in the end.
She's a real character, Lara Moritz, isn't she? Star of the future, there's no doubt. Loves her cricket so much. Some people call me a cricket badger. She is an absolute cricket badger. Great to see the smile and vigour with which she plays her sport.
Looks to go through that offside again, but Moritz tidies up. Yep, I was looking at some of the photos of the game yesterday and there were a couple of comedy shots of Lara Moritz batting. I don't know how she gets herself into certain positions, but it's effective, and we saw some really good shots here. And sometimes when you're a little bit unconventional, you're very difficult to bowl to. Driven again, but much better line from Canning. Catherine Bryce unable to score from that one. It's the end of the second. Scotland 6 for 1.
Yeah, those images you're talking about, taken mainly by Oisin Canary here, who's just providing the most amazing photography for Cricket Ireland. Did you see that shot he took down in Oak Hill during that Ireland Wolves versus Netherlands A games?
Beautiful. Yeah, he's a very talented photographer. Sport's lucky to have him.
Yeah, big time. Does a lot of golf as well. But if you do want to get to see any of those photos, get over to Cricket Ireland on social media. You can follow them there on Twitter, on Instagram. I know you're on the gram, aren't you?
Yep. I had to change my profile recently to say, if you don't want to see pictures of my baby, then you might as well unfollow me.
I'll just read those out though. Cricket Ireland on Twitter, Cricket Ireland on Facebook, Cricket_Ireland on Instagram. And of course the Match Centre has the live scorecard. You're watching us the live stream here. Andrew Leonard with Isabel Joyce, the former Ireland women's captain. We're here for all 4 days for T20 eyes. We will be here if we don't get blown away with our marquee soaring into the sky. Strong wind at the moment.
So Orla Prendergast comes back for a second. Another good half stop from Delaney, an extra cover. Those little half measures could be all the difference for Ireland. They are going to be defending every single run they can.
Might have saved as many as 3 runs here. Superb from the Irish women's captain. We've probably seen the 2 standout fielders of the series for me, Delaney and Catherine Bryce. The 2 captains operated extra cover. Gabby Lewis, superb as well. She's in the covers just to the left of Delaney. That's a really good stop. Full length to her right. Full commitment from the Irish skipper.
Short this time from Prendergast. Catherine Bryce picks it up early, but probably threw the shot before she meant to be.
And you just feel it wasn't a good delivery. You feel if Bryce could have taken the aerial route, got it over that fielder at mid-wicket, it would have been a certain boundary. little frustration showing for Bryce, but two sisters know they've plenty of time to catch up. Don't want that required run rate to get out of hand. Nudging towards 7.5 and over.
Better from Prendergast. Bit of a waft from Bryce. She's kind of replaying it in her mind, thinking should have left that one.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that delivery there, the natural stock delivery, if you will, for Prendergast is into the right-hander. That one wide outside the off stump, but just holding its line and completely deceiving Bryce. Frustration of missing out on the poor delivery of the ball before, followed up with another dot. These are crucial dots to start with for Ireland in the power play.
This time she gets it through. Once again, gets it in her area. Splits the fielders between cover and point. That's 4 more.
Shot of real class, that, Isabel. Class and authority. Rode the bounce, got over the top of it and cut it in between the fielders and the offside. It was short and wide. Came back in a little off the seam, but enough width for Bryce to punish it.
Yeah, it's definitely her favourite shot. If Ireland can bowl straight to Catherine Bryce, they'll find they can tie her up a bit better. Loves it wide outside off stump. It's still a good over from Prendergast. 3 gone. Scotland 11 for 1.
Yeah, I think Prendergast the fastest of the bowlers on show, certainly for Ireland, maybe in the entire series in fact, and that little bit of extra pace always comes with it the risk of flying off the bat a bit faster as well. See the two Bryce sisters there, resplendent in their grey Nichols gear. Who's your favourite kid, is it? Who did you spend most of your career with?
Well, whoever would give me something for free, I think, was the usual. It wasn't too many
You
people
weren't that transparent, were you?
Well, you know, it was expensive playing cricket for Ireland when you had to pay your way, you know, so if you could get a bat for free, that was the main thing. Now, I was a Kookaburra person for a long time. I usually had 1 bat. This is the way it used to be. You know, they kind of have 3 or 4 bats these days. I had my 1 bat for about 6 years. Lovely Kookaburra. Eva Canning returns over the top. Chance in the air. Cara Murray takes an easy catch. It's a huge wicket for Ireland. Sarah Bryce can't believe she's done that, straight down the throat. Another wicket for Canning.
What a start to her international career for Eva Canning, the Leinster club player from Dublin, into the T20 international side for the first time this week. Hit down the ground. It's a really simple catch, looking to take the aerial route, looking to get the elevation over mid-on, but no timing. Sounded to me like it very much came off the outside edge of the bat. A simple catch held. Ireland strike, and with it move really into the ascendancy in this second T20I.
Yeah, I can't overstate the importance of that wicket. Sarah Bryce, so often the linchpin to the Scotland batting order. Just the 2 runs from 7. So she just showed her frustration with probably a rash shot. Canning's such a tall bowler, it just hit high in the bat, I think, for her. But that brings out to the middle yesterday's player of the match, Katie McGill, top scored with 20. He used to bat down the order, primarily a bowler, but has managed to make her way up the order with how busy she is. Likes to ramp the ball, so you'll see immediately a change in the field. Mid-wicket going into fine leg, which I think is a very good move. So leaves a huge gap in mid-wicket. Eva Canning's been just brilliant in the start of her international career, hasn't she?
Yeah, what a start. A debut wicket yesterday. 1 for 17. Bit of a change in that field you were just talking about. So the third man goes across to short fine leg, and there's a catching mid-wicket coming into place. That's Leah Paul.
And a really good start. Always important to make the new batter play straight away, I think. Bowled it nice and straight and had her on the back foot. Katie McGill looks like she likes the ball full.
Brave selection from the Irish selectors, Eva Canning. If you look at her kind of, let's just say, raw figures and wickets within the Super Series, maybe not necessarily justified inclusion, but they've seen something in her, and that faith being justified.
Well, she was always earmarked as a future Ireland player from a young age. Really tall bowler, really good attitude, trains very, very hard, comes from a very competitive club, Leinster Cricket Club, who've been dominant in Leinster cricket, and I think that would be one of the reasons they've brought her in. Also, in the Super Series, she's been really impressive, and especially considering she broke her ankle last year, so she didn't play for a long time. Down the leg side, That fine leg coming into play immediately. They don't take on Celeste Rack after that run out yesterday. Learned the lesson.
Yeah, it was one of the two standout moments really of the day, wasn't it? The catch from Catherine Bryce and the direct hit run out from Celeste Rack. Diminutive leg spinner. She's just getting up a bit of a head of steam here as well. Ava Canning certainly bowling at a faster clip than yesterday. She would have been nervous yesterday. 1 for 17 on her debut, and a wicket to go with it today.
Short there, and Katie McGill played that really well down to the vacant third man area. They took the fielder out to plug up fine leg. Katie McGill, good thinking there, finding the gap.
Probably a cutter this time to try the mix up from Ava Canning, so showing her skills, and that's why it didn't have the pace to run the whole way down to the boundary, even though it's come off the outside edge. But good batting from McGill. It was certainly opening the face, looking to run it down towards that vacant area of the ground.
And just down leg that time. Ava Canning getting a little bit looser here.
That one's gone like a banana is. It's gone absolutely miles from well outside the off stump. You could see her wrist coming behind the left of the ball, and that has swung a huge distance.
Well, she's corrected for the wind, and then the wind has completely dropped. That's the problem. That's the problem with swing bowling. She was accounting for a lot more resistance, and that time decides to go nice and full. They take on the fielder. Rebecca Stokel will have a shy, but now throws it into the ground far too close to her, and it's a bit of a tennis ball bounce.
I think McGill would have just got home. This sort of half fumble as we get to the end of the fourth over. 15 for 2. You're watching us here live from Stormont in Northern Ireland for this, the second of 4 T20 internationals, the Celtic International T20 Challenge Series. So good to have international sport back here on this island. First international cricket in over 600 days, men's or women's. Men will follow up the women taking the leading act to start this summer. Men going over to the Netherlands next week, and hopefully we're going to see more international series for the women announced later before they go over to that qualifier in August. We'll wait to hear that from Cricket Ireland, but this won't be the only time we'll see them on the park this summer.
So Prendergast coming back for her third over. Wide to start off. I think this is a good move from Laura Delaney, keeping on her strongest bowler.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a bit like we saw Catherine Bryce 3 through right at the top when she's rolling. 2 wickets down. If they can find the third in that power play, I've spoken about this stat before, you find 3 wickets in the power play, T20 or ODI cricket, you win over 90% of your matches.
Correct, a bit outside off on that occasion. Another shot down to third man for Katie McGill. And you feel like in a 20 over match where batting has been difficult so far, only 1 innings of actual attacking batting, the longer they can keep Scotland under the thumb, the more chance they have of getting this victory today and going 1-1 in the series.
They've set the series up beautifully, and that required run rate at the bottom of your screen is going to be the key one to watch. Over 7.5 now. Scotland can't let that get out of hand.
Short and pulled. That's 4 runs straight off the bat. Didn't even bother running. That's a good shot from Catherine Bryce. She got side of one earlier, decided not to go through with it, but she wasn't going to miss out again.
Yeah, and that's the exact delivery. That's the exact shot from the previous over from Prendergast. The drag down. She missed out the first time, wasn't going to miss out a second.
I think she intended to bowl a short, quicker ball, but the pace not quite in the wicket really for that delivery. Much better off bowling a bit fuller, definitely in the other half of the wicket, like that first wicket she had, second ball of the innings. And that's where she needs to bowl it much better from Prendergast. Looks like she's bowling a lot quicker when she does pitch it up.
Yeah, and that's almost the replay of the dismissal to Becky Glenn, coming through and hitting the top of the stumps. That's the length to bowl on this wicket. That's what Scotland have done so effectively, particularly yesterday. I think anything too short is almost a freebie for a batter of Catherine Bryce's quality. Prendergast corrects.
That one goes wide of third man, but Amy Hunter picks it up nice and quickly. Throwing with the wind today, she'll be happy about that. She spent a lot of time throwing into the wind yesterday.
So you don't mind that length. That's fuller, it's driven, but just a single. A lot of fielders in the circle on the offside, and then protection action down at third man. So Prendergast still very early in her international career. You have to remember that. Just your 10th T20I today. There's a whole world of potential.
Short again, pulled away, but picks out the fielder at square leg. Celeste Rack, once again, no single to her. She's getting a name for herself as a gun fielder. She'll enjoy that.
Yeah, just a little fumble and a mix-up though, so for a moment they thought about running on the half a misfield, but Celeste Rack does enough, cuts off the powerful pull from McGill. McGill, the player of the match yesterday.
Surprised to see them not go aerial for the short balls at the moment. The fielder's in so tight on the leg side. Prendergast thinks about it, kind of appeals, and then thinks better of it.
She put her head in her hands and said, "Oh, I can't believe that was so close." And then somebody else appealed. She said, "I'll appeal as well." But the umpire, Rolly Black, rightfully unmoved, too high, maybe even probably going down leg as well. Let's see if those initial instincts were incorrect. Not going down like an inside edge that thudded into the thigh pad. So absolutely not out. The right decision. 5 overs gone. All the twos. It's 22 for 2.
Yeah, not a lot of foot movement there, was there? She's quite close into her crease, so if she hadn't managed to get that inside edge, I think she might have been on her way, but definitely the right reaction straight away from Prendergast. Canning will also bowl her third over. A good start from her. That's the line she wants to bowl.
It's this kind of a slightly more old-fashioned approach to T20 international cricket we see so often, whether it's the men's or the women's format. Almost these constant bowling changes, bowlers bowling 1 over spells, no ability to get any rhythm or feel to your bowling. So I don't mind seeing this. I like the simplicity of what Ireland are approaching this innings with.
That's well timed and great fielding in cover. That's Orla Prendergast. Can't keep her out of the game. She is a supreme athlete. I think one of the reasons why they might be sticking with the same bowlers is that the wickets are falling. So it's not the same batters facing the same bowlers. So if you keep taking wickets, then you can keep bowling the same bowlers.
This is a sensational stop. I hope we catch it. We do. Brilliant camera work from our team up top. Diving full length to her right. It was powerfully cut. It saves a certain 4.
Wide ball signalled by umpire Alan Neal. You could see it out the hand almost that was going to be a wide. Can you?
That's always the difficulty with the in-swing bowlers to the right-handers. When you do get the wrist position wrong and you fall across it, you end up splaying it wide outside the off stump. Really good movement. We've seen made an international wicket yesterday, came in with a huge hooping in-swinger. 2 deliveries the last over, really went as well.
Good length again from Ava Canning. They have put that cover fielder out, so Orla Prendergast out on the cover boundary, but that one hit to your fielder of the series so far, Laura Delaney. So I think if you were to say to her that she was the best fielder in the team, she would be the most delighted person around. She'd prefer that than being the best batter or bowler.
She works so hard in her game, doesn't she?
She
Laura
does.
Delaney, a great skipper of this Irish side.
Another great length, and Shauna Kavanagh looking really accomplished behind the stumps this series. I've been really impressed by the improvement in her glove work.
Yeah, a bit like her Pembroke teammate, Lorcan Tucker, perhaps not, hasn't come up the whole way through the system as a wicket keeper, as a regular glover. Shauna used to bowl a bit, used to bowl quite slingy, kind of right arm seam, almost a bit like Malinga or someone, but she's evolved. She was always a standout fielder. She's evolved into a great keeper as well.
That one hit strongly through the offside. Orla Prendergast, though, anticipates that really well. Something that I've been really impressed with about her is how she reads the ball off the bat. One of the signs of a really good cricketer.
Great dots though in this over. 4 dots already. Scotland can't afford that. Well, it's not as drastic as yesterday, the slow start to the Irish chase. Getting only about 24, maybe 25 runs off this initial power play won't be enough for the Wildcats.
They take on the fielder. Rebecca Stokel has a shot. I think she would have been in trouble there, McGill. Or Bryce, I apologise. No, McGill. Looked too similar for me.
Difficult with the helmets on always. So round out the power play. I'll bid you a brief farewell as we'll take a quick look at just how close this run out would have been. Izzy, I think you might have been right. She could have been in trouble. Didn't run a straight line. The bowler almost got in her way. If that throw was a direct hit, could have been out, but no harm done. 6 overs gone. It's 25 for 2.
Yes, thank you for that, Andrew. Great to call the 6 overs so far, and I'm joined by another Andrew. Seem to be surrounded by them today. Andrew Blair White joins me in the commentary box, and Ireland very much in the box seat.
Yeah, no, they've started very well with the ball, both Orla Prendergast and Ava Canning. Both different types of bowlers as well. I think they complement each other quite nicely. It looks like we're going to see Leah Paul into the attack today. We didn't see her with the ball in hand yesterday with her left arm off breaks, but very effective.
Yeah, I was surprised not to see her bowl yesterday. Sometimes it's the problem when you have too many bowlers in your team. You don't want too many bowlers bowling just 2 overs. So didn't get her opportunity yesterday. Did bat pretty well, batting down the order, but gets her opportunity with the ball today. And I like left arm off spin in this ground especially. Very difficult to score boundaries, and she's got the field out. Straight away, not happy with her run up. Looks like Lara Moritz is also warming up. We might see her bowling from the Dundonald end soon. Nice slow start, almost a chance, just over the head of Laura Delaney, an extra cover. Bit of a fumble from Lewis, but tidies up quickly. Wind behind her. That it's always nice to throw the ball in from the boundary with the wind behind you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So Leopold very slow usually from what I've seen of her bowling. She'll tempt the batters into trying to play a big shot.
Yeah, she's got the field out on the leg side, so protection with the wind, enticing the batters to go over the offside. Used to be a seam bowler, left arm in swing, bowled quite quickly when she was a young teenager, then hurt her back, then bowled very slow in swing seam bowling, and has recently turned into an off spinner. I think it's a good move. Every team wants a left arm orthodox bowler in their side. She's just someone who the whole team gets behind as well, a real character, real leader in the team, even though she's only 21 years old.
I think she's bowling from the right end as well here, kind of tempting the batter to go over the leg side, but that will be against the spin obviously.
Drags that one down, club down to long on. Cara Murray, bit of a misfield, and they'll come back for a second on that. Took a little bit of a tiddle down there, but Cara Murray not quite in the right position, so wasn't able to adjust. Always so frustrating as a bowler, isn't it, when someone misfields off it. Slow again, chance in the air. Moritz takes a great diving catch to her right. She jumps for joy. It's a first wicket for Leah Paul in the series. Scotland go 3 down. That's the end of the skipper. Catherine Bryce has to go.
And I'm sure there'll be a few high fives to Cara Murray now after that previous delivery, letting them come back for 2. And they've managed to get the big wicket of Catherine Bryce. She was cutting, she wasn't in control, but that's a brilliant catch from Lara Moritz.
Yeah, for a second I thought she wasn't going to go for the catch. It kind of hung in the air, didn't it? But dived to her right in the end and timed it really well, catching it just off the ground. And they know what that means. Both Bryce sisters now are gone, and Scotland rely so heavily on them for the bulk of their runs. So Ireland understandably extremely happy with their position right now.
Yeah, what difference 24 hours can make. Ireland would have been a bit down in the dumps after yesterday not chasing 87. They've come out today, they batted with plenty of intent, and they've started off with the ball. They were excellent with the ball yesterday, to be fair, and in the field, but they've resumed that progress.
Bit of indifferent cricket there, short and outside off and odd fielding, but the Scottish players opting to just watch that happen. So 7 overs gone, a wicket from that one. Scotland in a bit of trouble, 28 for 3. So if you are just joining us, welcome to Stormont in Belfast for match 2 of the Celtic International T20 Challenge between Ireland and Scotland. Earlier in the day, Ireland batted and scored 137. Scotland now 28 for 3 off 7 overs. It's a tough task for them. Required run rate approaching 8.5 and over. I'm Isabel Joyce and I'm joined in the commentary box by Andrew Blair-White, and a much happier scene today than it was yesterday for Irish watchers.
Yeah, exactly. It's just been a much better performance, I think, from the first ball of the day. Rebecca Stokel pummeled a boundary off the bowling of Catherine Fraser for 4. You could just feel that, even the momentum from then just changing. And we've got a change of bowling. Lara Moritz coming into the attack for the first time today.
Pulled straight away. There is protection out there, but McGill showing that she's not going to go down without a fight. We saw it yesterday. She was the one who came in and gave the Scotland innings some impetus, and she was player of the match after she took 3 wickets as well. She's intending on putting up a good fight.
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity for some of these Scottish batters to get a bit of time in the middle and try to make a fist of this run chase. As you say, they're usually so reliant on the Bryce sisters. But this is an opportunity now for some of those maybe in the middle order that wouldn't get as big a chance perhaps to really put their hand up.
Absolutely. We spoke about it yesterday that some of the Irish batters had that opportunity. None of them took it actually on that occasion, but today it was the top order who did the job. Moritz was one of those. He was so impressive. Bit of a misfield from Delaney and extra cover, but just goes for 1. She's obviously a bowling all-rounder. She'd be happy to hear herself called an all-rounder now, I think, Lara, but really enjoys her batting and turned into an excellent fielder as well. A couple of seasons in Australia really paying dividends for her. Gives herself a bit of room, but nice full bowling from Moritz.
Yeah, I think just looking ahead to the final 2 games of this series, and you think at this stage, I know we're still very early on in the run chase, that Ireland will take a win here. It's whether they can recreate that batting when batting second and chasing runs.
In the air, chance for Prendergast, but she pulls out at the last second. Good decision from her. For a second I thought that one was going to sail into her hands, but not quite enough power on it.
Yeah, just dropping short of Prendergast, even with the wind behind it. Probably got a bit closer to her than she might have thought, but she's done well there. Sometimes those are difficult, you can let them through on the half volley. She's collected it pretty well, just a single.
Down the leg side that time, probably overcompensating for the wind, which is going from right to left as you look at the screen. It's an intriguing series already. Scotland won the game yesterday when they probably thought they were going to have trouble defending 87. Ireland then bouncing back and setting a target of 138. 2 more games in the series. Down the leg side again for Moritz. Yes, 2 more games in the series. We'll be back here again tomorrow 1 p.m, same start time, and then the final game of the series at 11 a.m. on Thursday. So if this game goes the way we think it will, it'll be 1-1 going into the game tomorrow. These 2 well-matched sides. Short from Moritz in the air, well cut away, but Prendergast in good position to return that, just showing the strength of her throw, able to throw that in on the full, even into the wind. So a bit of a licorice all sorts over from Lara Moritz, but only 6 from it. So that's 8 gone. Scotland 34 for 3. So if you were Mark Cole's Scotland coach now, Andrew, what would you be saying to the batters coming in next? Do we try and chase the target, or do we try and get to 100? What's the aim?
You've got to try chase it. You can't die wondering, especially in 20 over cricket. You want to see their batters take risks.
Short from Paul and just into the offside.
I don't think it's a particular, it's not overly a pressure situation really. You're coming in, needing nearly 9 runs and over now. You're not expecting to win from this situation, but at the same time, if you got a couple of boundaries away, you just feel a little bit better about yourself. You can score runs quickly here at Stormont.
Reverse sweep does get something on it, but not enough to get past Moritz, who comes around from point to keep it to 1. We saw it in the first innings, didn't we? One boundary and an over, and 2 and a couple of singles, and you're up at 9s. So I think that's what they should be targeting. But it can be difficult to get those boundaries away if the bowlers are bowling well. You have to take some risks, especially with the lack of pace that Leah Paul brings. And I think it's a good decision from Laura Delaney to bring her into the attack in this situation, because the batters have to generate all of the pace.
I think what I was so impressed with though in the Ireland innings, obviously boundaries are brilliant and there were some excellent boundaries at that, but they were converting an awful lot of balls which could have been dots into singles, and we've seen there even with the last 2 deliveries with Chatterjee. They're 3 now relatively kind of stock standard balls from Leah Paul. She isn't turning the ball too much, it is slow. There's plenty of time to be trying to find a gap. You've got to make those dot balls into singles, especially when you're chasing a target such as this.
And especially when there are 4 fielders on the boundary, plenty of gaps, but probably boundaries playing on her mind. And she does go for a boundary, hits that one well, and it's over the head of Prendergast in mid-wicket. She was in off the boundary, probably not accounting for the wind enough. A free and easy swing, that one's over her head, over the rope for 4.
Yeah, I thought when this went over Orla Prendergast's head it would be 6. But as you can see there, just landing inside the rope.
Yeah, it is a big boundary out there, so Prendergast coming in, not expecting the ball to go over her head, but with the extra wind you'd imagine she could probably be starting on the rope, and also she's a very fast runner, so she could make up any extra yards that would be in front of her if she was on the rope. But nonetheless, a good shot to finish out the over from Chatterjee. 6 from it again, 9 gone, and Scotland 40 for 3. We're going to see a change of bowling. Cara Murray bowling her first over of leg spin from the Dundonald end.
Yeah, it's good to see Cara coming into the attack. Hopefully get a couple of overs from her today. She bowled 2 overs yesterday, probably struggled a little bit for rhythm from the City end of the ground. Changing it up today. She's put an awful lot of work into her game, and I think her bowling in the Super Series this year has shown that it's been an awful lot flatter than she used to bowl, and she's getting through her action a bit more, and she's bowling real nice leg breaks these days.
So straight down the wicket for McGill, showing her usual busyness. But good start from Cara Murray. Ireland probably have the best of the conditions. The wind has just dropped a good bit. Scotland having to battle against it for their whole bowling innings. And Ireland now in the field, they don't have to work against it as much. So happy to take the single there. But these two finding it relatively easy to go at 6s. They've scored 6 off the previous 2 overs, but 6s won't do it. Every time they get 6 and over, the run rate goes up already up to 9s. Well bowled from Murray. Already much better than she was yesterday. Just seemed to struggle a little bit with her length.
Yeah, no, good start this. It's these dot balls that are killing Scotland, though. Gotta, especially with the field the way it is, got to be trying to get a single at least from each delivery.
Down the track, in the air, and a beautiful shot. Bisects extra cover and mid off. Once again, Katie McGill not afraid to take on the bowlers. That's 4 runs.
Yeah, lovely shot from Katie McGill. We saw in the first innings a few from Gabby Lewis through that extra cover region. McGill here using her feet to great effect from Cara Murray, gave that plenty of air. She's hit that very well, bisecting Laura Delaney and Ava Canning. And it's always going to run away for 4 when you hit them like that.
Better length from Murray. They're taking on Laura Delaney, and that pressure just means she fumbles, so they get through for a single.
It's better batting that from Scotland, though, putting the pressure on the fielders. So often have we seen fumbles come about from batters taking quick singles, taking risks.
Hit well through point. Prendergast moves around to keep it to 1. So decent over from Murray, a good shot, meant that went for probably more than she would have liked. Scotland moving on to 48 for 3 halfway through their innings. And just to give you a comparison, after 10 Ireland were 59 for 2, so it's not a huge amount of difference. I mean, obviously in T20 cricket 10 runs is a lot, but by no means out of reach.
Yeah, you can have a look at those graphics that we're putting up of the Worm. Scotland just been a little bit behind the 8 ball so far, but it was around this time of the innings where Gabby Lewis and Sean Kavanagh really got going, and you never know, if Chatterjee and McGill can start getting a couple of boundaries away, you might see a little bit of something come in, as we see Celeste Rack now coming into the attack with her leg breaks from the city end.
Full into leg side, what a catch! Chatterjee can't believe her luck. She's hit that straight to Leopold, hard, low, and what a take from the left armour.
Yeah, brilliant catch from Leopold. Chatterjee's hit this plenty hard enough, and she's in quite close at mid-wicket as well. It was a slow looping, low full toss. That's a very smart catch. Mustn't have gotten over a foot, 2 foot off the ground, and she's taken that superbly, and that ends Chatterjee's innings. She was just beginning to get going. She departs for 9, and it's another stumbling block now for Scotland. They're 48 for 4.
Yeah, when it's going your way, isn't it? Chatterjee couldn't believe that she picked out the fielder A and that she took the catch B. A few catches going down for Scotland when they were bowling. Ireland taking all of their chances so far. A very smart catch from Lara Moritz in point a couple of overs ago, and then Leopold taking the catch for her clubmate Celeste Rack. It's a great start for her. Wicket off her first ball.
Yeah, it brings Ailsa Lister to the crease for Scotland, who made her T20 international debut yesterday. Shaped pretty well with the bat. She's got another chance here to get a few runs on the board.
Straight off the mark for Lister. Always good when you get that first run. Thought she looked good yesterday. The only problem she had was when there was the extra pace of Orla Prendergast, and even Lara Moritz didn't look as comfortable against the short ball. So Ireland might bring on one of their pacers. Another attempted reverse from McGill. Change it from Rack. Goes a bit straighter and quicker. Always thinking Celeste. Just got it all, every delivery in the book. And they change in the field. The third man comes around from fine leg, and I think we'll be seeing Katie McGill target that fine leg area immediately. Straight away goes for the paddle. Her favourite shot. There is deep square leg, so keeps it to 2. But I think if I was the captain, I'd be keeping that fine leg in. Katie McGill historically scores about 50% of her runs in that area.
Yeah. Although the only thing with Celeste Rack is that she was bowling it so slowly, it's almost impossible to hit it for 4 to that fine leg region.
That one wasn't too slow. Definitely more pace on that one. There has been a change in the field. Mid-wicket goes to 45, so a huge area open to Katie McGill in mid-wicket if she's happy to take the 1s and 2s, but looking for a boundary, she'll have to take on extra cover or find the gaps between the boundary fielders, which she's almost done. But Orla Prendergast comes around and picks that one up very impressively. Lister coming back for the second.
Yep, another good shot from McGill. She moves on to 19, impressing again with the bat, trying to be busy at the crease. That ends the 11th over. Scotland 53 for 4. They need 85 from 9 overs. It's up over 9 runs and over at this stage. And we're going to see yet another change of bowling. I think it's going to be the captain herself coming into the attack for the first time today. Laura Delaney breaking the record of international T20 caps for Ireland today.
Yeah, very experienced player, Laura Delaney. Not something that we're saying too often about players in this team. Only a couple of them playing a lot of games in the green of Ireland, but they are led very well by Laura Delaney. A real all-rounder. She's opened the bowling, bowled at the death, bowled the middle overs, even tried leg spin at one stage. But now is gone back to military medium, keep her up to the stumps. Very difficult to get away. kind of bowls a skiddy ball. Looks like it's short. It's a wild throw from Cara Murray, but well backed up by Leah Paul.
Yeah, I would say there hasn't been a single situation that Laura Delaney hasn't bowled in international cricket, as you say. She's been in every situation. She knows the way she bowls inside and out, and it's tricky to face and tricky to get away.
A bit shorter than she would want, but Lister unable to get down the other end. It's funny, the game seems to be just slipping away from Scotland, doesn't it? Ireland getting through the overs quickly, every dot ball pushing that required run rate up. Delaney looking to field on the return there, but maybe just slipped a little bit.
Yeah, I think Katie McGill just going down to her young partner Lister here, maybe try to shuffle across and top one into the leg side even for a single just to get off strike. More than anything, there's plenty of options here on the leg side to score runs.
In the air, Ava Canning moves round, but it goes straight down the ground, so manages to get it between the two fielders. Well, I think that Katie McGill might have said the exact opposite, come and have a go, but I don't die wondering, which is something that is probably a good piece of advice. But Katie McGill, the senior partner, good to see her going down and having a chat to her teammate who's only playing her second T20. And that's out. Delaney gets her wicket. Katie McGill gives herself room, but Delaney bowls straight and true. She takes her first wicket of the day.
Yeah, you miss I hit from Laura Delaney. It's exactly what she does. She bowls on the stumps, tight lines. McGill trying to manufacture width and hitting the top of middle stump there. No better sight for a seam bowler. McGill tried her best today again. 19 from 23 deliveries, inventive as usual, but you sense that her departure is really the final nail in the coffin for this Scottish side. 54 for 5.
Absolutely. Half the wickets gone for Scotland and not half the runs required, so trouble for them. Abby Aiken-Drummond coming out to the middle. Today she becomes Scotland's most capped player. 153 caps for her. She passes Carrie Carswell, who was previously most capped on 152. So a big day for her. She would have hoped to be on the winning side again, you'd imagine, for this landmark occasion, but so often that happens, isn't it? 50th caps, 100 caps and less than performance. She'll be looking to put one in today. Worked into the leg side. Almost a mix-up. Laura Delaney, always good off her own bowling. She closes out her first over. It's the 12th for Scotland, and they're 54 for 5.
As you can see there from the playing 11, Abby Aiken-Drummond breaking that caps record, and certainly would be a day she would never forget if she pulls this one out of the bag.
Yeah, famous victory indeed. Yeah, she'll need to put in a huge performance along with Ailsa Lister. Scotland are going to go 2 from 2. Leah Paul returning from the City end. Celeste Rack bowling just the single over. It was a good one though. Took the wicket of Chatterjee on her first ball. Slow and hit into the offside. So it's death by spin now from Ireland.
Yeah, I wonder whether they'll look to maybe give Leah Paul and Cara Murray a few more overs each here.
Down the track, just kind of bunts it down to long on. Cara Murray doing the tidying up. Yeah, it's kind of the stage of the game where whoever needs a few more overs in the tank. I'd be putting my hand up. I want a few wickets.
I just think probably we know that both Laura Delaney and Celeste Rack, they can take wickets, they can do the job for Ireland. We've seen them do it on so many occasions. It'd be good to give Leah Paul, Cara Murray, Ava Canning, those younger players that are looking for wickets, looking for even a bit of rhythm.
Pushed into the leg side. Lots of protection out there. Not too many answers from Scotland right now. Finding it easy enough to get the singles, but Ireland happy enough for them to take those. It's the boundaries that Scotland will be looking for now. Just 45 balls remaining and 82 to win. This one goes aerial. Orla Prendergast underneath it. She takes the catch. It's a wicket for Paul. She looked for the boundary there. She couldn't get it over the head again of Orla Prendergast. So 6 down for Scotland.
Yep, it's all slightly falling apart here for Scotland. Ailsa Lister trying to go for that big shot. Probably against the wind. She wouldn't have made it to the fielder, but with the wind it's just travelled to Orla Prendergast, who's usually got a very safe pair of hands. And another wicket for Leah Paul.
Yeah, just 3 runs for Lister. Looks like she's comfortable enough getting up and down, getting the singles, but when required to score boundaries just didn't have any answers. And when she did try and push the run rate on, just gave her wicket away a little bit. Picked out the fielder. Couldn't have picked her out better, actually. So Megan McCall comes to the crease. A huge mountain for her to climb. And I think at this stage I'd be thinking I'm going to just get myself a score here, get some time in the middle, but maybe that's selfish.
Well, it's probably a combination of two things, that you're trying to get a little bit of time in the middle, but also put your hand up for maybe going up the order in one of the next couple of games if you can score a busy 20 or 25 here.
Good placement from Aiken Drummond, getting it between the fielders but not managing to get it through the field. I think sometimes you can fall under the impression that you have to score boundaries straight away in this kind of situation. There are still over 7 overs left. Get a few singles and then get into your innings and then try and score the boundaries. Slow again from Paul. Big appeal and given out, and Shauna Kavanagh will be sighing with relief that was given out, because she didn't take the wicket of McCall. She'd gone running down the track looking for a leg by, but Leopold takes her third.
Yeah, that looked fairly adjacent. Looking at the replay there, Rowley Black in no hesitation to give that one out. Another wicket for Leopold. She's really turned the screw here. Scotland 57 for 7. Unfortunately, it's looking like a little bit of a sorry batting card for them at the moment.
Yeah, McCall goes on the sweep straight away. Unfortunately, she goes for a duck. It's Catherine Fraser who'll join Abby Aiken Drummond in the middle. Not great body language from the two. That was the last ball of the 13th over. 3 from it. Scotland 57 for 7. And with that, I'll say goodbye, Andrew, and I'll welcome the other Andrew into the commentary box.
Laura Delaney to continue. 57 for 7. Scotland, and as I welcome Andrew Leonard back into the commentary box beside me, Lenny, I think Ireland will be an awful lot happier than they were maybe 24 hours ago.
Yeah, without doubt. Going to bounce back in a big way. Square the series with an impressive performance. Bat bowling in the field, much better from Ireland today. Perhaps a little disappointing at points from Scotland. They'll be disappointed with a couple of dropped chances in particular. If that catch of Lewis could have been held maybe at mid-on, it could have been a different tale, but it looks to me like Ireland are going to outplay Scotland in all 3 facets today.
Yeah, been a very complete performance from Ireland. They'll be very happy with it. Scored good runs this afternoon to start with, 137, which was probably a little bit above par, I'd have thought. And then they've bowled and fielded very well, like they did yesterday, but they've really put the squeeze on, and Scotland's run chase has never garnered any sort of momentum.
They've been tigerish in the field. As you'd expect them to be hungry for the return of international cricket. Rightly so, been far too long since we've seen the girls in green in action, and they're going to bounce back and square the series here. Let's hope over the course of the next 30 minutes or so. Scotland are going to try and go down fighting, because Abby Aiken-Drummond has absolutely hammered that one into the deep. It was a short ball from Delaney, a pick-up. So Abby Aiken-Drummond nearly cleared the ropes on the biggest side of the ground into the wind yesterday. She's done it today.
Yeah, excellent shot. Just a little shimmy down the wicket.
Massive appeal and finally given. It took him an awful long time to get the finger up, Alan Neil, but it's 6 and out for Abby Aiken-Drummond. Laura Delaney was convinced, despite the shuffle down the track. Did look straight enough. Was Hythe going to come into this? Took a long time to give the decision. Probably going on to hit off stump.
Yeah, I'd say just about the right call from Alan Neil there. Probably an umpire's call, that one, on off stump. But Abby Aiken-Drummond, even though she was a little bit down the pitch, wasn't going over the top or anything like that. So, little brief innings from herself. She departs for 9. Scotland 65 for 8 here and staring down the barrel.
Yeah, so often when you see the batter come down the track, you wonder, will Hythe come into it? But it actually kept so low when we saw it properly on the replay. Aiken-Drummond goes. LBW to Delaney for 9 from just 8 deliveries. That almighty 6 that was heaved into the leg side. Not going to be enough, as Scotland staring down the barrel of what could be a very heavy defeat now. Leopold really impressive with her left arm spin. The tactics better from Ireland overall today?
Yeah, I think it was just the change in mindset with the bat that was the main thing. And I suppose the one thing that does leave, remains to be seen is whether they can keep that intensity up if they are, chasing down a target. I think both of these sides would prefer to defend than to chase.
As we see Maksud in at number 10, the leg spinning bowler, pumping that one down the ground just for a single. Leopold used today. Perhaps an oversight not to see her left arm spin yesterday. And that's going to be the 9th wicket. Picked out the fielder on the deep. Took a long time to get out to her. She's held on to a really good catch. Leopold can't stop taking wickets now and showing why she perhaps should have been used with the ball yesterday. Really good, brave bowling from the left arm spinner.
Yeah, not afraid to toss it up is Leopold, and again another Scottish batter looking to clear the ropes on that leg side and failing to do so. Another good catch out there from Orla Prendergast. She'd be expecting to take those catches, and she's done so with great effect, and it's a 4th wicket for Leopold, and she's making a late charge for this player of the match.
Yeah, career best for Leopold in T20 internationals, her 11th T20I today, and she's got a 4th wicket. That catch was made to look very easy indeed out at deep mid wicket. Such a talented all-round cricketer. Samantha Hago in at number 11. She's not on strike. Maksud's on strike, who gets that away for a single. What a day of contrasting emotions for the Scottish women. Such joy yesterday, such emotion at getting back to international cricket, but they've come up well short today.
Yeah, they just haven't been at the races at all. They were a little bit more ragged in the field than they were yesterday, where they put in such a fantastic performance to defend 87. And Leopold now just has a solitary delivery to try and get that 5th wicket. It'll be a brilliant 5-wicket haul, and certainly it's been a spell of bowling she won't forget anytime soon.
Yeah, lovely flight and guile, and crucially bowling from the right end. Drift bringing her left arm spin back in. She finishes with probably one of the few poor deliveries, a little bit of a full toss, but it's not going to take away from her figures. A superb spell of bowling. 4 overs, no maidens, 4 for 16. The standout, the pick of the bowlers. 7 used today. A day to remember, and a T20I career best for Leopold.
Yeah, been excellent with the ball in hand today, Leopold. Now, situation probably profits in terms of that she was able to toss the ball up, but still takes an awful lot of belief as a spinner, especially an inexperienced spinner like herself, only turning to spin in the last 18 months, 2 years. But an excellent performance from her.
Full face of the bat, an immediate call of yes from Hago. Hago will get through for a single.
Yeah, it's just about trying to put a little bit of respectability on the total here at the moment for Scotland. 70 for 9. It's been a tricky day at the office for them. One of them that they'll have to just regroup from it and try come back again tomorrow.
What a glorious shot that is. Really powerfully struck off the back foot. Seen much better stroke making from both sides today, even though Scotland are going to come out heavily on the losing side, still showing more intent, and just been a better game of cricket today, I think, all around.
Yeah, it has been. And Stormont looking fantastic, Nick, as per the usual.
I think it's not just as per the usual, it's even better than normal. No rugby here at all over the winter. The outfield is pristine. The square is always in good condition thanks to Philip McCormick and his ground staff team here at Stormont. And exciting times for the future of Northern Irish cricket, because big plans here for this ground, big developments. In the offing, and that one thuds off the pad and comes off the helmet. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Just cannoned, looped up slowly off the pad. It drops onto the helmet. A big laugh and a chuckle from Hago. Take a look at this. It just comes in. Bit of in-swing from Delaney. Thuds into the pad. Back live with you now. Full into the block hole from Delaney. Delaney just practicing her delivery, wanting to finish through. Game all but gone now for Scotland. Good tight nagging line and length. A little bit of a mix-up between Hago and Maxu. That's going to close out the 16th over. The last rights of this Scottish innings. They are 71 for 9.
Yes, and it looks like Lord Delaney's looking to put this one to bed. Orla Prendergast coming back into the attack from the City end of the ground. Batted well today. She's fielded superbly, and she obviously bowled very well for 3 overs up top from the City end as well. She's very quickly becoming a leader in this side, Orla Prendergast. And you said yesterday while on commentary with me, Lenny, whether she was potentially filling that void that was left by Kim Garth, and I think she's doing so to great effect now. A very good all-rounder in all 3 facets of the game.
Yeah, fine performance from Orla Prendergast today, just showing us some of that potential she has back into the attack from the City end. Yeah, future bright for this young Irish side, and I think Ed Joyce going to be so pleased with bigger challenges ahead this summer. There's no doubt he's going to want to win this series. He'll not be wanting to go down to a side that is ranked lower than his, but more importantly, he's going to want to get as much game time, preparation time, time under pressure in all areas of batting, bowling and fielding for his side. And that one just flies off the outside edge past the outstretched dive of Shauna Kavanagh. Not really a chance. She might have been able to get a glove on it to save the boundary 4, but the pace that Prendergast possesses, it's always going to be a boundary. Would have been straight to first or maybe just second slip. Yeah,
unfortunate here for Prendergast. Hago, I think, to be fair to her, was trying to somewhat guide that down to third man. Not as fine as it's ended up going. But a boundary for 75, or 76 should I say.
And that's going to be it. The 10th wicket. Comprehensive from Ireland. A comprehensive dismissal to finish it all from Prendergast. She's been really good today with bat and with ball. And in fact, the whole Irish performance has been outstanding. They've turned it around in a big way. 11-run defeat yesterday. They're going to run out ready winners. Full and straight and fast. And for the second time today, Orla Prendergast has found the middle stump. It's going to be a 61-run victory for the Irish women. And the 4-match Celtic International T20 Challenge Series is levelled at 1 apiece.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant for the series as well, going into tomorrow's game and Thursday's game as well. 1 each after 2 games, and Ed Joyce will be absolutely delighted with the way his young side have recovered today after what would have been a bruising victory, or a bruising defeat yesterday, should I say. And they've really reversed that form in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, super stuff from the home side, the Irish women. What a difference today makes. We had a low scoring thriller yesterday. They felt that maybe they should have got a little closer in and chased down that total, but that has been all forgotten now, because Irish women, look at the joy in that camp. Lots of fist bumps and high fives and lots of joy for the Irish side. Because 2 games into this 4-match T20 International Series, halfway through the series, it's 1 apiece. And you'd have to feel that Ireland, who should have been the favourites going into it, lovely moment there. Look at the Scotland women's team clapping their victors off. Not too often you see that. You see it a lot in international rugby as well, making a tunnel. But a lovely sign of respect from the Scottish side. They know they were beaten and heavily beaten today, but great respect from both sides. But Ireland the winners today, and ready winners. 61 runs they've run out as victors by, and I'm going to guide you through all the cards here. It looked like a completely different Irish side today.
It did, starting off even with Rebecca Stokel, made a breezy 10 off 7 deliveries, but Gabby Lewis and Shauna Kavanagh provide the mainstay of that innings. Lewis at 47, Kavanagh at 31, and then a fantastic partnership from Orla Prendergast and Lara Moritz to finish off, both batting at above a run a ball to get Ireland up to 137, which looked a good score.
Yeah, really good score, definitely above par I felt, and perhaps if Lewis could have kept going it might have been even more than that, falling just 3 runs shy of another T20I 50. Bowling figures for Scotland, I think the standout probably Catherine Bryce, 1 for 22 for her. Katie McGill, 2 wickets again. Perhaps surprising to see no Becky Glenn today, and only the solitary over for Samantha Hago. Remember, Scotland have a 14-player side here, Ireland a 15-player side, so I suspect coming into the 3rd and 4th matches, both sides unchanged today. We might see some changes to the 2 starting 11s, but that is the Scottish card, and it's a tale of woe. Katie McGill top scoring again, but not enough contributions throughout the batting card.
No, not on the side. It's just the 2 making double figures. McGill with 19 and Catherine Bryce with 17, and both of them put up decent efforts, but ever after Becky Glenn was castled just in the second ball of the run chase, they were up against it and they never garnered any sort of momentum after that.
Yeah, and apart from that 6 from Aitken Drummond, like you said, not a huge amount to shout about. The bowlers are really good. Leah Paul in particular, standout. T20I career best figures for her, 4 for 16 from 4 overs, beautiful left arm spin. And from the moment she came on, she really turned the match in Ireland's favour. Also good stuff from Orla Prendergast, a great all-round day for her. The end result, Scotland winning by 61 runs. In fact, Ireland winning by 61 runs, Scotland losing by 61 runs, making the series shared at 1 apiece. We'll have 2 more games. Tomorrow, the 3rd T20I will be at 1 p.m, same time tomorrow. Hopefully the weather continues. Hopefully that wind can disappear. Keep the sun streaming across your stream here at Stormont. Remember, if you do want to come along and watch, £3 entry will go to the Hope Foundation. Great to have the crowds back today. Bigger crowd in today than yesterday. We'll probably see the biggest crowd of the week tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Then the final match of the series could be the decider at 11 a.m. It will be the decider, whatever the case. Because whether there's a win, loss or a washout tomorrow, we will have a decider on Thursday. The series is set up perfectly at 1 apiece. And Andrew, would you feel now that Ireland favourites to go on and take this series, perhaps?
Well, I'd say they're definitely in the ascendancy after today. That would have been a morale boosting victory, and I suppose nice to get a few of those gremlins away from yesterday. I suppose we'll have to see. I think, something such as the toss could well be even important tomorrow. I think both teams have looked a little bit more comfortable batting first. It'll be interesting to see whether that sort of trend can keep going throughout the week.
Yeah, so Ireland will be a much more pleased side today. We're going to see all the action the next 2 days. The third match tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the fourth and final match at 11 a.m. But time now to find out who the player of the match is going to be. Not an easy decision. Let's get over to Isabel Joyce to find out who it is.
Hello and welcome to the post-match presentation for match 2 in the Celtic International T20 Challenge. Ireland, the run-out winners with 61-run victory. Honourable mentions go to Orla Prendergast. She made 23 and took 2 wickets. Leah Paul took 4 wickets, but it was the innings of Gabby Lewis that was the real difference between the two teams. She made 47 and she is the player of the match for today. Congratulations, Gabby.
Thank you.
I have to ask, after yesterday, a disappointing, a bruising loss, what was said in the hotel afterwards to come up with this performance today?
Yeah, obviously we've had a long break from international cricket, so maybe a few nerves around there in the camp of game 1, but I'm so glad with the bounce back we showed today, and obviously we all knew we were capable of putting out this performance we did today, but it's just about backing ourselves, and that's what we did today, and luckily we came off.
You're a senior player in the team. Did you see it as your kind of responsibility to go out there with a positive mindset and get rid of the nerves for the rest of the team?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously we're a young squad as well, and I think we've all shown what we can do in Super 2s, which has been great to have before this, and going out there and backing ourselves as well, and something we talk about, just backing ourselves and showing what we are capable of.
So 2 more matches in the series. Do you think Ireland can go 3-1 up?
Definitely, 100%. Just showed this is only the start of it as well. Obviously it's good to get the win, but there was still some things we need to work on, so hopefully tomorrow we can come back and make it even better win.
Well, congratulations and best of luck
Thank
for
you.
the rest of the series. So that's it from us today at Stormont in Northern Ireland. Ireland have won match 2 by 61 runs. From me, Isabel Joyce, my co-commentators Andrew Leonard and Andrew Blair White, everyone at HBB Studios and Cricket Ireland, thank you so much for watching, and we do hope you'll join us again tomorrow for match 3 at 1 p.m.
Thanks guys.